review. Will it be Sturm's nifty goal, Nolan's wicked wrister, McLean's miracle, Bernie's monster save, or is it Nichols' humongous hit? We'll announce the winner April 18th.
Tonight's presentation of San Jose Sharks hockey is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to go places. By Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth. By Pepsi Cola, the choice of Generation Next. By Round Table Pizza, the last honest pizza. By PlayStation Athletic Department, food, shelter, sports, and a PlayStation. That's all we need. And by Bud Ice, official beer sponsor of the NHL. Drink Bud Ice, but beware the Penguins. And we are back live at the Kiel Center in St. Louis for Sharks hockey. Our Southwest Airlines starters in goal. Kelly Hrudey gets the start again tonight. Mike Vernon originally scheduled to get the start, but he had to travel back to the Bay Area for a happy occasion, the birth of his son, and we'll tell you more about that. Grant Fuhr, the starter in goal for the St. Louis Blues, his 53rd appearance, and once again, Grant Fuhr has been the workhorse here in St. Louis. Mark Fawcett's the referee. Greg Dvorsky and Scott Driscoll are the linesman. Jerry Burt is the video goal judge. This will be the final meeting of the season between the teams in the regular season, at least. The Blues have a 2-1 edge in the 3 meetings so far, but the last time these teams hooked up in the first game after the Olympic break, the Sharks beat the Blues 3-1 at San Jose Arena. We're underway as Nichols centers a line with Craven on the left wing and Mateau on the right to start this game here in St. Louis. A huge one for the Sharks and game number 1,000 of his career for Murray Craven, who has the puck now. Here's Mateau. Wanted to come in front for Craven, but it's intercepted by Brett Hull, and Hull will fire it into the Shark zone. Hrudey coming off that outstanding effort in Dallas on Saturday afternoon. Now a centering pass right up the middle, kept in by Todd Gill. He turns it over to Nichols momentarily, but gets it back behind the net. Rayom there with Turgeon. Pierre Turgeon waiting, makes a move. Rathje knocks him off the puck, and Nichols there to get it back out for the Sharks.
Well, that's one area that the Sharks really have to watch the St. Louis Blues. Up front, they're very quick. They're not real physical, but we saw their speed behind the net. They like finding open people out front.
Jeff Courtnall now on the ice, trying to send it up the middle for Terry Yake. Intercepted by Burr. He'll leave it for John McLean. Now Ricci behind the net. Watched by Chris McAlpine. Ricci shoved to the 4 boards. No whistle on the play as it comes back out. Chris Pronger, left wing pass. Courtnall back up the middle for the defenseman, and Hrudey makes the save as Pronger made the big pinch from up the middle of the ice and got the shot on goal. A delayed penalty coming up here to the Blues. Hrudey leaves the net for an extra skater. Here's Ricci. It hits him in the skate, and he dumps it down the ice. Fuhr will control it, and will get the whistle.
And it looks like Brian Marshman might have picked up a penalty right at the end, just before the whistle had blown. There Kelly Hrudey skated off the ice for the extra attacker. The original penalty going against Jeff Courtnall. Big slash on Sean Burr as he brought the puck up the ice. But right towards the tail end of that play, it was Brian Marshman taking a minor of his own. Both teams will skate 4 skaters aside.
Here are the scratches tonight. Joe Murphy out with at least a 1-game suspension for his slash on Richard Matvichuk Saturday. McSorley's healthy. Vernon on his way back to St. Louis, might have already arrived. Ken Sutton a healthy scratch as well. Pretty much all the St. Louis scratches, with the exception of Kennedy, are due to injury.
Here we'll see the Blues chance earlier. Chris Pronger, great speed going up the middle. You see him dish and go, and he gets a shot on net. Campbell just misses on the rebound. Later on in that same play, it was Jeff Courtnall with a big slash on Sean Burr. Brian Marshman, though, the Sharks evened it up with a penalty of his own.
So it's a 4-on-4 as Marshman gets the high stick, Courtnall the slash, and Mark Bergevin with the puck for St. Louis. They turn it over. Here's Friesen at the top of the hash marks, lets it go. Kept in by Ragnarsson at the point. Back along the boards for Granato. He's pulled down right in front of Fawcett, and he let it go. Bergevin was looking over, thought for sure he was going to get a 2-minute penalty, but Fawcett let it go.
Well, as Tony was laying down, he looked right up at Fawcett, hoping he'd see his arm go up. It didn't happen.
Now the Sharks come across the line again. Granato trying to work it to Friesen in front. That's intercepted, and the Blues come out as Scott Pellerin works his way to the red line and dumps it in. Kelly leaves it go under direction from his teammates as the icing indication came up, and they will send it down to the other end. Time for Conroy's Keys, brought to you by Craig Auto Parts.
Well, first off, the Sharks have to try and stay out of the penalty box. They've got a potent power play. The St. Louis Blues, too. They're ranked 5th at home. They also have to be aware of the Blues defensemen. They're the highest scoring defense in the league. They've tallied 53 goals already this year. They like to jump into play. And finally, cycle the puck low against St. Louis. They don't have the biggest centerman in the world. They're not real physical. If you can get the puck deep on them, it's normally the centerman who helps out down low. You may be able to create some odd man situations down deep.
There's Joel Quenneville, who got his first ever NHL win as a head coach against the Sharks last year when he took over for the fired Mike Keenan. Now the Blues down in the corner. Al McInnes gets it out to a former Shark, Darren Turcotte. His pass at the line just onside, but intercepted by Mateau. Now here's Craven, 2-on-1 for Mateau. The pass just behind him. And the Blues come ahead 3-on-2. Down the left side. The shot, and Rudy kept it out as Mike Eastwood tried to tuck it in. Eastwood coming over in a deadline deal. And he just about put the Blues on the board there with a one-handed stab.
Yeah, and I think it was goalie Kelly Rudy who made the pad save. A nice play, though, in his own end by Al McInnes. He broke up the 2-on-1 with a nice play of his own with his stick, then the perfect pass to Eastwood.
Hall for Turgeon. Ragnarsson gets a hold of it, goes to the corner. He falls. Turgeon has the puck. Still with it. Tries to get a shot away, and Ragnarsson was able to recover, pick up his man, and made the block. Here's Pronger. Hull at center, takes the blue line, trying to fight his way through traffic, slowed down, now a backhand pass. We've got a hooking penalty. No, it'll be a high sticking penalty against the Sharks, and the Blues will go to the power play when we come back to the Kiel Center. Who'd he get, Johnny Mac?
I thought it was Rags. It's Rags.
Oh.
Was it a high stick?
Yep.
Is that the call? High stick.
Fans has their chance to assist Brett Hull with every goal he scores by pledging dollars to United Cerebral Palsy of Greater St. Louis.
This presentation of San Jose Sharks hockey is brought to you in part by Pepsi Cola, the choice of Generation Next. Marcus Ragnarsson in the penalty box just as the 4-on-4 ended. He's nabbed for high sticking, so we get our first look at the St. Louis power play, which can be awesome, especially at home. Combined home and road, they're ranked 11th overall in the NHL.
And there's the man that makes it work, Al McInnes. He normally stays out for almost 2 minutes on the power play, and he'll log anywhere between 25 and 30 minutes by the end of the game. Huge slap shot, and there's a man who normally doesn't stand in any one area, especially on the power play. He likes moving to an area and shooting that one-timer. Let's see if he can get out into the open here on the power play.
Turgeon on the face-off, but the Sharks control it. And it's cleared behind the net where Grant Fuhr slows it down for the Blues. Lately, their power play has stalled out a little bit. It is 4 for the last 33, St. Louis. And in their last 6 games, they are with just 2 power play goals. Here's Ricci, and he'll send it down. As the Sharks make a quick change on this kill unit, Marchment comes out with Holder. Sturm out with Friesen as forwards. Steve Duchesne. Rudy slows it around. Now Portnoy gets it free. He's hit by Marchment. And Marco Sturm with one man to beat. Sturm moving in on McInnes. Tripped up, and he just lost his edge there. Now Sturm trying to bang it down low past McInnes. He's got Friesen with him, but they both peel off and head to the bench.
Smartly play there by Al McInnes. As a defenseman playing one-on-one, you like to try and get your stick between the legs of the opposition player. Marco Sturm just tripped trying to cut to the outside.
Terry Yake to Pascal Rayom. Back to Yake. In front, it was just touched there by Campbell. Now from the corner, it's Yake again to McInnes. Sends it to the other point. Pronger shot tipped just wide. Now Rayom behind the net. Gets it back. Iafrate guarding one side. Marshman over on the other. Blues keep it in the zone. Pronger again. Looking for a tip. He gets it, but not the one he wanted. It's off Murray Craven's stick and out of play. And there's 22 left in the penalty.
Well, there's Chris Pronger. He leads the league in plus minus. Currently a plus 35. He's a real stalwart on the blue line. Good give and go here. Good passing between the two defensemen. Here you see the Chris Pronger attempt. He shoots. Rayom in front with the redirection. He's not trying to score a goal. He's looking for white jerseys. He spots Rayom here. His head's up the whole time. Takes a little wrist shot. It's not going to score on its own. It might, though, if there's a screen or a redirection. Rayom gets his stick on it. Just tips it a little wide.
No score here in the first period. We are live in St. Louis. Stop number 3 of this 6-game road trip. It's perfect so far. Wins in LA, a win in Dallas Saturday. And after this, the Sharks have 3 tough games left in Pittsburgh, Ottawa, and Toronto. And now a puck onto the St. Louis bench. And that leaves just 5 seconds left in this Blues power play. The Sharks have penalty killed against this Blues power play perfectly this year. If they wipe off the final 5 seconds here, St. Louis will be 0 for 18 against the Sharks on the power play.
And that's against one of the better power plays in the league. And Daryl Sutter knows it. And he also mentioned the fact that his son Christopher, who turns 5 today, is celebrating a birthday, will be watching the game. He wanted to wish him a happy birthday and say hello. Apparently, Christopher watches all the games that are broadcast on TV. So happy birthday, Christopher.
Indeed, and there's another Sutter up in the rafters here. Brian Sutters, number 11, retired here a number of years ago, and he went on to become the head coach of the Blues and was named NHL Coach of the Year during his tenure here. Now, of course, the coach of the Calgary Flames, who are not out of the playoff picture either. As we mentioned, the Flames and Edmonton playing in a huge game for those two teams. Here's an onside play and a shot wide. The spinorama by Mike Eastwood, and he missed the net.
Well, it's a second great scoring opportunity by Mike Eastwood.
Here's Lowry for the Sharks. Fakes the shot, trying to get around Duchesne. Now from behind the net, a chance for McLean. Oh, and he pulled the trigger and left the puck. Back come the Blues. And it's Marco Sturm on the back check, getting it away for the Sharks. An unbelievable miss by John McLean. Here's Ron Sutter, but the Sharks are offside. I don't know what happened there, but he had a wide open net, and I think it caught him a little bit by surprise, and McLean just pulled the trigger and missed.
Well, McLean realized he didn't have a lot of time. He had the goaltender Fuhr looking the other way. He knew he had to get this shot off quick. It'll jump here. You see it jump over his stick as he tries to get the shot off. And unless you can see it from that angle, you don't know what happens. But John McLean realized, I don't have a lot of time here. He knew Fuhr was looking the other way. It had to be a quick shot. He didn't have time to catch that puck and settle it. Just an unfortunate bounce for John McLean.
Just one of those deals where you need some luck around the net. It didn't happen for Johnny Mack that time. But the Sharks with a couple of good rushes there in a row. First that McLean group, and then Sutter and company after that. Sutter's line stays on out there with Sturm and Burr. And we have a puck up in the crowd. 13:31 left here in the first period. You know, you mentioned your keys off the top, and also a key to trying to beat the St. Louis Blues this year is not to allow them to score the first goal, especially at home. When the Blues score the first goal in this rink, they are 16-1-4 this year.
Well, that's an unbelievable stat. And this is a team that, even though they're one of the elite teams in the league, I think their confidence level is very fragile. And if they can get out of the gate well, especially at home, get that first goal, that just seems to be a mindset for them for the rest of the game.
Got a St. Louis penalty right off the faceoff. It is going to be a hooking call by referee Mark Fawcett. Looks like Pronger heading to the sin bin.
It's obstruction hooking right off the draw. It's a face-off penalty, and you'll see Chris Pronger get his stick around the midsection, and I believe it was Mike Ricci on that far side, ended up hooking. He'll be on the left side of the screen here. Here you see him holding up the player, getting his stick between the legs. I believe that's maybe Marco Sturm that he's doing a job of holding up. You're not allowed to do that. They've cracked down on those obstruction penalties, especially off draws. Chris Pronger will sit the next 2 minutes.
So the Sharks power play gets its first opportunity. Marlowe centering Granato and Friesen to start the power play out with Ragnarsson and Iafrate on the points, but it's cleared back down. And it is worth mentioning that in the 2 wins on the road, the Sharks have scored power play goals in both games.
Both games, and they've totaled 3 goals in those 2 games. You know, when they score on the power play, the Sharks normally win their hockey games.
Ragnarsson trying to get it away from Pellerin at the point, but he taps it across, and it's cleared on goal to Kelly Rudy. So the first foray into power play territory not working out all that well. They'll try again as Granato tries to shovel a little pass ahead. It stays at the blue line to Susan, and he gets it down low, but unable to control it down there is Friesen. Banged around by McInnes, and it goes the length of the ice.
Well, the Sharks having a tough time gaining control once they make the blue line. They've done a good job getting the puck deep. Now, though, it's just a question of outmanning St. Louis when they get the puck low.
Blues are a good penalty-killing club as the Sharks go offside. 5th best in the league combined coming into this game tonight. And there is Darren Turcotte, another former Shark, as the crossover factor between these 2 franchises continues to grow. Turcotte, a former Shark, Todd Gill, a former Shark, and another guy that is in the lineup tonight, Michel Picard for St. Louis, a former San Jose Shark.
And here's Stéphane Matteau, the player that Darren Turcotte was traded to St. Louis for. Stéphane Matteau, a great acquisition for the San Jose team. Really knows how to play his position defensively. Does a great job of picking up, especially top lines from other teams.
Duchesne trying to slap it clear, gets it to the blue line. Sharks hold it in. Bill Holder up the middle, takes the shot, and Pure the stick save. Now Sturm back to the point. Shot by Susan, and Pure gets to that. Here's Sturm on the far side. Drops it down low to Ricci. He's forced to make a pass by Duchesne. Now Holder on this side. Back to the line. Shot blocked. Comes right back to Susan. He keeps it going. Takes another drive and scores! Andre Susan. A power play goal. And the Sharks lead 1-0.
Well, you'll see the calmness of Andre Susan here. He thinks he gives the puck away. His original shot is blocked. He gets it back. Has the presence of mind to wait a little bit. He changes his angle slightly, takes a shot. Mike Ricci providing a great screen in front. That puck goes in on its own. You'll see Grant Freer looking for it. That fools him. I think it might go between his legs there. Andre Susan, though, a heavy slap shot from the point. He gets it back after his first slap shot's blocked, takes the wrister. That gets him a goal. So for the 3rd straight game on this road trip, the Sharks have a power play goal. Now Matteau with a steal. He paid the price on a check from Pronger on the far side. Sharks trying to hold it in down low. And they do. Here's a pass intended for Matteau. A little bit too much traffic. Stepping up is Marchment with a big hit on Jim Campbell. And Campbell heads right to the Blues bench. Now it comes back to Kelly Rudy. He'll sweep it off the glass and up to center. Craven trying to get a hold of it. Now behind the play, a fight. And it's Marchment who won't drop the gloves, at least right now, against Kelly Chase. Chase dropped the stick, did not drop the gloves. And, of course, the Blues upset for Marchment's hit on Jim Campbell earlier in the shift that sent him right to the bench. So a penalty to the Blues, and the Sharks will have a power play when we come back to the Kiel Center. It didn't look like a bad hit on Campbell, no, that's
did it?
a good hit. That's a great hit.
See if we can see it.
Knocked the wind out of Campbell right there.
Yeah, that's shoulder on shoulder.
Yeah.
He went right to the bench.
Did
he go off?
No, well, he sat down and he stayed.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's still there. Oh, this is the other angle? Oh, okay.
What?
You just gave Chase the finger.
No kidding.
by conduct. Time of the penalty, 8:42.
Well,
Brian Marshman makes things happen, and he's drawn a St. Louis penalty here to Kelly Chase.
and he's doing what he does best. Big open ice hit. Here you see him getting the shoulder and part of his hip into Jim Campbell, and that, I think, knocked the wind out of Campbell. And there at the top of your screen, you see him running into Kelly Chase. Kelly Chase ended up taking a swing at Marshman. He's the only player to get the penalty.
He gets roughing at 8:42. So the Sharks right back on the power play where they just scored the game's first goal. And it's touched by Duchesne. And they're going to call that icing as it was slapped in from beyond center ice by the Sharks.
And there's Jeff Friesen. We mentioned 3 goals in his last 2 games. Has really caught fire since he's been paired with Tony Granato and Patrick Marleau. And he says what he likes about Patrick Marleau is they can switch positions, especially offensively. Jeff Friesen has played center in the past. He's very comfortable offensively playing in the middle. He says he can get into the game a little better that way too. It forces him to skate a little more. And playing along Tony Granato, he just loves finding him in front of the net. He says he can count on Tony Granato being parked in front of the net, and there's never a bad pass to Tony. If it's within 5 feet of his stick, he knows Tony Granato is going to get it.
Bill Holder and Mike Ricci got the assists on the Zuzan power play goal. And here comes the power play unit again. Iafrate lets it rip wide of the net. Eastwood there tried to get it out, couldn't. Now it's tied up by a group on the far side. Ragnarsson back to Marleau. Ragnarsson holding it at the line, gets it down low. A quick play by Friesen to try and get it out of his glove and toward the net. Broken up by Pronger. Still a minute 13 left in this Sharks power play here in the first period. Zuzan with a pass that almost went back to the Blues. Craig Conroy. Now the rookie brings it ahead to center ice. His backhand feed for McLean broken up. Scott Pellerin wasting some precious power play time on the near side. And now Holder behind the net again for the Sharks, who are again having trouble establishing the blue line down in the St. Louis zone. This is Sturm, and he can't get a hold of it. And oh boy, that looked like the Sharks might get a call there as Bergevin was hauled down, but nothing called by Fawcett.
Bit of a dive there by Bergevin, trying to dress it up. Again, though, a key for the Sharks, that first pass coming out of their own end on the power play has to be a good one. It's got to be tape to tape. Then they have a lot better success making the opposition blue line.
Holder will dump it in, and Fuhrer will just grab on. And there'll be a face-off in the blue zone with 14 seconds left in this Sharks power play. They're leading here 1-0 in the first period.
And it was Grant Fuhrer who injured his leg against the San Jose Sharks in February 26th, right after the Olympic break. He missed a number of weeks. He was out of action actually for 3 weeks. Has played the last 4 games for the St. Louis Blues. They went in and scoped it. Head coach Joel Quenneville happy to have him back, but in his absence, McLennan, very good record, 6-2-2, while goaltender
Grant
Fuhrer was out of action. He really turned it around for St. Louis.
McLennan then got hurt himself, and the Blues had to dip down into the minor leagues just to get through a stretch of a couple of days. In fact, Grant Fuhrer was forced to play in a game that he was backing up, but not at 100% yet from the injury. And in a scoreless tie, he faced 3 shots on goal in the first 45 seconds back from the injury. Here's Mateau down low. Trying to sweep it back in front for Bernie Nichols. Broken up, and the Blues get a hold of it, and it's Brett Hull with the power play over. Here's Hull across center ice and lost the puck. Back comes Craven with Mateau. Murray fakes the shot, turns back, looks for the trailer Ragnarsson. His shot partially blocked by Chase. And now Craven back to his right. 8:53 left in the first period. Sharks up 1-0 on Andrei Zuzan's 5th of his career.
Well, good coverage there by Murray Craven. He went up ice, made the pass to the defenseman Ragnarsson, realized Ragnarsson was going to get involved offensively, picked up his position, was the covering D-man.
Rafchi with a hip check on Rayom to knock him off the puck. Now a pass up the middle. Here's Ron Sutter trying to split the defense. He does, and he kicks it back up, but can't get it to the stick. Now to this side, Sean Burr to the Lowry, behind the net to Sutter. Sutter waiting, still with it. Here's Burr, who took a big hit. He's bumped by Rayom. Puck goes back to the point. Iafrate there to hold it in. He plays it off the glass, now throws it ahead. If a Shark touches this, we'll have a whistle for a hand pass. Nobody wants to touch it. It's a live puck. And now the referee finally blows it dead. 8:02 left here in the first period. Sharks leading the Blues 1-0. That's a funny shot. Two guys standing looking at a puck and nobody will touch it.
Wasted about 10 seconds there.
If you're trailing, you don't want to be doing that.
Do we have a list of like a game sheet, scratches and stuff? Thanks.
First, the first inning.
This presentation of San Jose Sharks hockey is brought to you in part by Cellular One. Don't get stuck with the wrong PCS. Call Cellular One, 1-800-CELL-1. Randy Hunt and Steve Conroy live in St. Louis. Sharks and Blues. Sharks trying to make it 3 wins in a row. And if they're able to win tonight and Edmonton loses, the Sharks would regain the number 8 spot in the Western Conference. Oilers playing Calgary tonight. That's a somewhat later start, 1 hour after our face-off here, and we will get you updates on the score from the Edmonton Coliseum just as soon as we get them here. Andre Zuzin, double team, takes a hit but absorbs it. Still battling with Pellerin for the puck. Bill Holder there to support him. Blues trying to keep it down low, and they do for the moment. Turgeon, or make that Turcotte, had the first half of it right. Marlowe occupies him, and now Jeff Friesen's able to skate it out and up for Granato. A breakaway pass, but Tony couldn't knock it down.
Tony almost found himself in on a breakaway. Down the other end, St. Louis very aggressive on their forecheck. This Turcotte line, all 3 players deep below the goal line, trying to put pressure on Andre Zuzin.
Sharks in the middle of a line change as it comes up the wing. Ragnarsson just missed it. A chance for Campbell, and Rudy a stick save. Now Marco Sturm bursting out of the zone, slowed up a little bit as he lost the puck. Then he's hit by McAlpine. Now a turnover to Ricci. He couldn't get around the defenseman back there. Actually, it was Portnoy back as a D-man. Now back to this side, and Ragnarsson will pick it up at the blue line. Sturm to Ricci. Touch pass intended for McLean. And a penalty coming up to John McLean. He got hooked up with McAlpine. Fuhr quickly leaves the net for the extra skater. Here's Portnoy, and it's intercepted by Ricci, and John McLean will head to the penalty box, and the Blues will get a power play.
And there you see the tripping call from Mark Fawcett. He had one hand on his stick, and as he tries to check McAlpine, you'll see him get it between his legs. McAlpine goes down as John McLean skates by, and that will earn him a penalty. That happened right in front of the referee. He put his hand up right away for the Sharks to kill another penalty.
Tripping to McLean at 13:43. We mentioned that Mike Vernon's not here yet tonight, although he's expected back tonight. There's Jason Mazzotti, one of the newest Sharks, came over in the deadline deal with the Rangers that sent Richard Brennan to New York. Mazzotti dressed as Kelly Rudy's backup tonight, but we expect that he will go back to Kentucky, where he went after the trade. And Jamie Ram, whose spot he took in Kentucky, went to Salt Lake in the IHL, as there was a bit of a goaltending merry-go-round in the Sharks organization on the trade deadline day. But Mazzotti on the bench for the Sharks tonight. Here's McInnes with a blast, and tipping that is Craven. And watch out up in the seat, says Al McInnes. Let that one rip.
Well, that's a good play by the penalty killers out there. Get a stick on his shot. Al McInnes normally pretty accurate with that slap shot. Likes to keep it low when he has traffic in front, looking for the deflection. And it was Murray Craven who got his stick on that. That's as good as blocking a shot. When you can deflect that up into the stands, That's as good as laying your body down and blocking that slap shot from the point.
Good pressure from Craven. McInnes carefully sending it over to Duchesne. Now Duchesne with a nice kick up to the stick to Hull. Turgeon at the point, back to Brett Hull. He's checked by Rathje. Puck hits Fawcett, the referee. Here's a chance for Duchesne. Fakes the shot, lets it go. Blocked in front of Rudy by Bill Holder, and then cleared back down.
That was an excellent block by Bill Holder. He had two white jerseys standing close to him. Jeff Portnoy was the closest, and instead of maybe having Kelly Rudy make the stop and he clear the front of the net, he stopped it himself, and the Sharks got it down the ice.
Sturm back in the corner, gets it around. Hull tips it to the line. Duchesne sends it back down low. Turgeon behind the net. Rayom overskates it. Here's Brett Hull. A wrist shot, actually a pass into Rayom, and Ragnarsson steers it clear to the corner. Friesen jamming it off the boards and back out of play, and the Sharks continuing to do a very good job on the penalty kill.
And they're converging on the puck in their own end. Rayom was in the slot, was wide open momentarily. He had two San Jose Sharks on his back. He couldn't make that pass to Turgeon.
This one takes a St. Louis bounce. Ragnarsson tried to fire it out. It hit Yake in the skate. Now back to Pronger at the point. Ricci trying to get into the way of it. It's still alive along the near side boards to Jim Campbell. He'll bang it back to Pronger. Ricci trying to steal it. Can't. Here's Campbell. Sets it up behind the net to Rayom. He's tracked down by Brian Marchment. Given a shove. Campbell sweeps it back to this side. 8 seconds left of the power play. Here's Campbell, side of the net. Marchment gets there to block it. Cleared by Ragnarsson. Pronger holds it in. His wrist shot blocked by Ricci. Now a breakaway pass to McLean, and he couldn't quite corral it as Grant Fuhr hangs on. John McLean, oh so close to breaking in on the St. Louis goal, but the Sharks still lead the Blues here 1-0.
Fans, please check the back.
Johnny Mac's going to get a bounce tonight, one way or the other.
Man.
That's two that have bounced over his stick. Would he have been on onside? I think so.
You know, the referee was pointing to him, and I think he might have been offside.
Oh, okay. The Sharks Foundation will conduct a silent auction before the game Saturday, April 11th. That's your silent promo. Been dying to do that. 1-0 Sharks leading the Blues here in St. Louis. Randy Hunt along with Steve Conroy. The Sharks trying to climb into the playoffs. It has been quite a race down the stretch here after tonight. They will have 9 games left to go. Here's Burr from the draw, and it's poked out by the Blues. Michel Picard out for St. Louis right now. Trying to advance that, and it's slapped back in by Mike Eastwood. Bill Holder gave it away to Chase. Chase knocks it down, looks front of the net, and he gave it away. Now Pronger with a blast, blocked by Ron Sutter. And Kelly Rudy's got it as Sutter is getting roughed up by Kelly Chase behind the play. Sutter was in Pronger's face big time after he blocked that shot, and Kelly Chase came over to sort Ron Sutter out a little bit, and Chase was lucky he didn't get a penalty there. He was roughing again.
Well, Ron Sutter knows that Chris Pronger's got a heavy shot. Everyone talks about Al McGinnis. Pronger's got a great shot himself. There you see the numbers on Kelly Chase this year. He's not counted on for his offense, but for his fists. He's one of the tougher players that the St. Louis Blues have. Rudy Pochek, Tony Twist out of the lineup. They were lacking some toughness there. He's not a huge player. He's only about 5 feet 10 inches tall. He doesn't back down from much, and it was Ron Sutter finishing his check on Chris Pronger that Kelly Chase didn't like, and he had something to say to Sutter afterwards.
Chase just back into their lineup tonight. He's been out with a leg injury, so he makes his return for Joel Quenneville this evening. And here is Chase off the faceoff. Delayed penalty coming up against the Sharks. And as Ron Sutter touches up, we get the interference call, and again right off the faceoff. And this was a crackdown that was initiated at the Olympic break, and it is one that we have seen stuck to with a little more consistency, I think, than some of the other calls.
Yeah, this is one area that they've cracked down, and they've stayed with it too. Off the draws, interference calls, and it looks like it's going against Andre Zuzin, another defenseman. He's at the top of your screen, and you see him just finishing his check there. The puck had come between the legs of Michel Picard. He takes him out, and I think that's what earned him the penalty. Obviously zero tolerance from Mark Fawcett. Andre Zuzin, I thought, was probably doing his job. Fawcett saw it differently, so the Sharks to kill another penalty.
Well, St. Louis now 0 for 19 this year as they head into this power play against the Sharks. And that formidable group out there again. Turgeon between Courtnall and Hull with McInnes and Duchesne at the points. And it's cleared down off the draw. That's a great power play unit on paper.
It really is. And you look at 4 of these 5 guys are going to be unrestricted free agents at the end of this year. So obviously St. Louis is going to have to make some decisions. Brett Hull, Steve Duchesne, both free agents without compensation, as is Al McInnes. And add Jeff Courtnall that mix also. Jeff Courtnall having a breakout year. He's the leading scorer among St. Louis Blues players with 27.
And clearly one of the issues that Larry Plow, the general manager of the Blues, faced at the trade deadline was how could he pare his salary down a little bit to try and get ready for the impending negotiations. And the way he did it was trading Murphy to the Sharks. Murphy coming over with a pretty big contract that Mike Keenan gave him a number of years ago, although the Blues are assuming half of that contract, but it's still going to save them, well, almost $2 million, even as they pick up half of it. And as the terms of the trade later were clarified, should Murphy reach certain plateaus in ice time and performance, the amount that the Blues would send back to the Sharks in compensation would begin to decrease, and that's normal.
Yeah, it is. And we talked to Joel Quenneville about that, and he said he liked the way Murphy was playing lately. Of course, Joe Murphy traded for that man, Todd Gill. He's really liked Todd Gill in the lineup. St. Louis Blues have 2 wins since Todd Gill's been part of the team. They had lost 4 games previous to that, and he's really provided some toughness in front of the net. That's one area that possibly St. Louis is lacking, is in front of the net. Todd Gill very capable of clearing men out in front of his own net. He's done that the last 2 games, and it's kept Joel Quenneville, a former defenseman himself, very happy.
Marco Sturm, good hustle right off the faceoff to get it back down the ice. Now he's hauled down by Jim Campbell as the Blues will start from deep in their own end. Still a minute 15 to go in the St. Louis power play. 2:45 left here in the first period with the Sharks leading 1-0 and the Blues go outside.
Well, Chris Pronger reminds a lot of people, in particular Joel Quenneville, of Larry Robinson. The way he jumps into the play, and obviously his physical stature, he's as big as Larry Robinson was, probably a little bigger. As we mentioned, Joel Quenneville, a former NHL defenseman himself, played 13 years in the NHL.
Pronger certainly a Norris Trophy candidate. I'd have to rank him up there in the top 3. Certainly Nicholas Lidstrom up there, Rob Blake probably the other in the elite group. You could even make an argument for Al McInnes, although folks are going to tend to base his year more on offense than defensive ability, although that sometimes seems to be the case with Lidstrom too.
I think those 3 are your odds-on favorites to be the 3 finalists. And Al McInnes, although he's had a great year, this part of it with the shoulder surgery wasn't the same when he came back. I think that's probably going to help him or hurt him in the voting.
Brett Hull waits on it, shovels it back into the corner. Courtnall for Turgeon. He tried to knock it down, couldn't, and it's chopped out of play by McInnes. And that leaves just 35 seconds left on the power play.
Well, Mike Ricci and Tony Granato up front doing a good job of preventing St. Louis setting it up and moving the puck around. The 5 guys who were on the ice very good at moving the puck around the perimeter, finding some openings, and Tony Granato with great speed. He likes the ice time he's getting now. He says being able to kill penalties has upped my ice time to between 14 and 17 minutes per game. And he says for a player like him who likes to play a lot, that is key. Just being in the game. He says it's so tough to stay in a game when you sit on the bench for 6 or 7 minutes. You don't see the ice. It's nice to get out there every once in a while, even if it is to kill penalties.
Campbell chasing after his own pass. Now back to Todd Gill at the point. His backhander kept in. Pronger a blast. That's blocked. And cleared down by Craven. And now just a dozen seconds remain on this rather anemic St. Louis power play tonight. Pronger skates it out across the line. A short pass ahead to Terry Yates. He'll take the line, give up the middle for Pronger. A weak shot that goes wide. Now the penalty's over as Husen comes on. Craven tying up Campbell in front. And it almost deflected off a defenseman in front. Now Gill a shot. And that's tipped wide of the net. Campbell and Husen both after it. Campbell working it behind the net, takes it to the corner. Here's Yates. All the way out to the point. Flicks it ahead. Rudy has to leave the net. Now he falls, and he'll cover it up to the side. Well, and that stops play with 1:01 left.
Smart play by Kelly Rudy there. He wanted to come out. You see him getting a chuckle about it. He wanted to come out to play this puck. He fell about 5 feet before he got to it. Realized he had no play. He'd better cover it up. Talking it over with Mark Fawcett. Nice save on the stick save, actually, in front of his own net. Almost put it off of Terry Yake. Ali Afraidy was doing a good job clearing the body in front of the net. When we talk about the success, well, there we look at St. Louis. No shots on that. The last 3 power plays, and as you mentioned, they were 0 for 9 the last time these two teams got together back in San Jose. Getting back to Kelly Rudy, he's won 6 of 8 games against the Dallas Stars over the last 2 years. And that begs the question, should San Jose meet up against Dallas in the first round of the playoffs? Who does head coach Daryl Sutter put in net?
Marchment, a risky pass in his own end, but he got away with it up to Sturm. Now it's back to Al McInnes as we're under a minute left in this opening period. Sharks leading 1-0. McInnes up to center ice for Eastwood. Checked there by McLean. Just dumps it into the zone. Marchment trying to keep it away from Brett Hull, who went offside. Well, you mentioned Brett Hull, the highest goal scorer in the 90s in all of the National Hockey League. He now has 553 career goals. This year he already has passed on the all-time goal-scoring list Frank Mahovlich, Stan Mikita, the Rocket Richard, and Michel Goulet. Some pretty big names on the all-time list, and he's 3 away from passing Johnny Busick.
It's hard to believe that the Calgary Flames traded him to the St. Louis Blues in exchange for Rob Ramage and Rick Wamsley. Of course, Ramage helped them win a Stanley Cup in '89, but this man has really paid dividends in the 90s. You mentioned his numbers there. He was the 4th fastest player to score 500 goals. Gretzky did it in 575 games. Lemieux did it in 605. Bossy did it in 647. Brett Hull took him 691 games in the NHL to score 500 goals.
The man who made that trade for Brett Hull was then general manager Ron Caron. There have been a lot of upheaval, a lot of changes here in St. Louis in their organization, from the president on down to the coach and everything else. But one guy who has stayed is Ron Caron, and that trade had a lot to do with it.
Oh, I think so. He's a real character, but one of the best trades he's made as a general manager.
And now we have some activity to the side of the Blues net as Dave Lowry is tied up with Pascal Rayom, and quickly the linesman there to separate it. Well, you know, you can count on one hand in this league how many players are there out there that fans pay to come and see that player, whether he's their home player or visitor. And Brett Hull is certainly one of those guys. Obviously Gretzky another. Jaromir Jagr another, Paul Kariya, and maybe Solani. After that, you got to start scratching your head.
Yeah, he's got to be worth whatever he's asking for. Apparently the last offer for St. Louis was $15 million over 3 years. That would put him at $5 million per, which would seem in line with what other players are getting. One problem, though, he wants a no-trade clause in that contract. Minnesota, St. Louis, not willing to go that far and give him the no-trade, and as a result, contract talks have halted, and they're not going to talk again until after the playoffs.
What they may be willing to do is go longer term without the no-trade contract, and obviously that would be part of what Hull is bargaining for, but then again, you look at his age, how many years does he have left at this level in the NHL, and that's what bargaining's all about, and that's what free agency is all about, and Brett Hull will get offers out there, and there's a lot of speculation that the Chicago Blackhawks are going to want him and his marquee value, especially in the city where his father became so famous with the Blackhawks.
It seemed to be a perfect fit, of course. Bill Wirtz took a lot of heat after he let Bobby Hull go in the WHA. It would be a way of making amends with the fans.
We have a hit right at the buzzer as Scott Pellerin was upended by Bernie Nichols. And we'll see if there's a penalty out of this. It would appear not. That is the end of the first period here in St. Louis. And the Sharks on the road, leading the Blues 1-0.
I was supposed to throw it.
I was supposed to throw it at the end saying this is a video look at Murray Craven's career. And I said, here's Murray Craven's video career.
What's that second segment then? Sell? Oh, yeah, okay. We are live here in St. Louis this evening. The San Jose Sharks leading the St. Louis Blues 1-0 after a period of play. One of the most exclusive clubs in hockey grows by one tonight to just 127 individuals in the history of the NHL who have played in 1,000 games. Steve Conroy standing by with Murray Craven. Gentlemen.
Thanks, Randy, and we're joined now by Sharks forward Murray Craven. And Murray, congratulations tonight. You're playing in your 1,000th game. Obviously a lot of memories over that period of time. Can you share and reflect on some of your highlights?
Well, you know, Steve, I played in the Stanley Cup Finals 3 times, and twice with Philadelphia and once in Vancouver, and 2 of those series went to 7 games, and I was on the losing end of those 7 games, but nevertheless, those have been pretty tough to eclipse those types of hockey games. The biggest game of my life a couple times, and hopefully I'll get there again sometime.
Now, obviously, over a 16-year career, you're going to have some low times too. What have been some of the low points over that same amount of time?
I have a short memory for those types of things. That one time I got hit in the eye pretty seriously, and I had to miss probably 6 or 7 weeks. Other than that, I really don't think of those things very much. It's been pretty much positive throughout my whole career, and I've been honored to play in this league that long.
Now, obviously, I've talked to some of your teammates, and they say that as far as hockey sense go, there's nobody who comes close to Murray Craven. What is it in your mind that you think has kept you in the league for this long?
Well, I think that, hopefully that is one of the things that's going to continue to keep me in the league. Also, I think versatility. I play a lot of different positions and a lot of different situations. And, over the years, I was always kind of, labeled a center or a left wing and really never one particular position. And maybe early on I thought that hurt me, but in the long run it's going to be to my benefit, and I'm quite proud of that fact that I can play any position. I've even played defense on occasion, so that's one thing I think that stands out in my mind as being something that's kept me in the game this long.
Well, Murray, from our standpoint, you play all the positions very well. Again, congratulations, and thanks for spending time with us.
Thanks, Steve.
Murray Craven began his journey toward 1,000 NHL games back in 1982 as a first-round draft selection of the Detroit Red Wings. After 2 brief stints with Detroit, Craven was traded to Philadelphia for future Hall of Famer Darryl Sittler. For the next 7.5 seasons, Murray would prove to be a key member of an outstanding Flyers club. During his stay in Philadelphia, Craven averaged 21 goals and 38 assists. His stint in Philadelphia was highlighted by trips to the Stanley Cup Final in 1985 and 1987. Murray's career moved on to Hartford in 1991. As a member of the Whalers, Craven again put together 2 solid seasons with goal totals of 24 and 25. In 1993, Craven was acquired by the Vancouver Canucks. The next year, he was a key component in Vancouver's trip to the Stanley Cup Final, where the Canucks finally bowed to the New York Rangers in a classic 7-game series. Following 2.5 seasons in Chicago and the trip to the Final Four, the San Jose Sharks acquired Craven during this past offseason. However, Murray Craven's career is more than a series of statistics and NHL stops. Most important are the things that Craven brings to his team. Known as a character player of the first degree, Murray has been a respected leader on every team that he has played for. His remarkable hockey sense, speed, and ability has allowed him to be a reliable performer in virtually any game situation. With his appearance in today's game, Murray Craven joins an elite club of NHL players that have appeared in 1,000 games. Congratulations, Murray, on this outstanding achievement. Vote for the Pacific Bell Sharks Play of the Year. Call the toll-free numbers now or vote online at the Sharks website. Here are the 5 nominees. Play number 1. Marco Sturm shows the Hawks how it's done.
Breakaway, cuts in, shoots, score!
Play number 2. Owen Nolan steals and scores against the Stanley Cup champs. Play number 3. John McLean finds a way to get it done as the clock ticks down against Florida. Play number 4. Mike Vernon robs the Blues' golden Brit. Play number 5. Bernie Nichols makes Dallas see stars. Let's review. Will it be Sturm's nifty goal, Nolan's wicked wrister, McLean's miracle, Bernie's monster save, or is it Nichols' humongous hit? We'll announce the winner April 18th.
Hey Sharks fans, I'm Kim Vestal.
And I'm John McLeod from Kara 105.7 FM, radio home of the San Jose Sharks.
And it's time for yet another name drawn in the Sharks Getaway Giveaway presented by Southwest Airlines.
If your name appears on the screen in a few seconds, you'll have 10 minutes to call 1-800-564-KICU.
And if you do, you'll win 2 round-trip tickets to any Southwest Airlines destination. So let's see who tonight's winner could be.
Remember, you can't win if you don't enter. So enter to win now.
Listen to Kara 105.7 FM or watch 36 KICU TV for details. And go Sharks!
Yeah, Frank. Oh, okay. Okay. Right. Okay. 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 Great. I'll pass it on to Randy. Yeah, okay. Yeah, thanks.
Tonight's presentation of San Jose Sharks hockey is brought to you in part by Chevron Gasolines with Techron. Chevron, simply smarter. By Comerica Bank, California. We listen, we understand, we make it work. By Cragen Auto Parts for fast, friendly service. There's only one place to shop in San Jose for auto parts. That's Cragen Auto Parts. And by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. Here in St. Louis, the Sharks and the Blues hooking up for the last time this regular season. The Sharks leading 1-0. We'll be back with highlights here on KICU. Yeah, everything's great. Our first period scoring summary brought to you by Pepsi. Andres Usen, a power play goal at 8:09, his 5th of the year from Holder and Ricci, the only scoring so far tonight.
The power play gets its 4th goal in the last 3 games. Here's the original shot blocked. Zusen, though, great patience there, hangs on to it, takes another slapper, and it finds its way through a couple of sets of legs. Mark Bergevin might have redirected this. Here you see the original one-timer blocked. And instead of backing off the line, Zusen stays with it. Heads up move by him. Takes another slap shot, and there you see it going between the legs of Mark Bergevin. And I think it ends up just sneaking between the legs of Grant Fuhr also. That puts San Jose up 1-0.
And they were outshot 6-4 in that period, primarily due to the fact, well, actually not due to the fact that St. Louis had 3 power plays, because they didn't even have a shot on goal on those 3. And the Sharks, as you look at Usen, the goal scorer, will start the second period shorthanded. Bernie Nichols did pick up a penalty at the 20-minute mark, charging the call on Nichols as time ran out. So there's Bernie in the penalty box, and the Blues will start the second period on their 4th power play, still looking for their first power play shot. Duchesne over to McInnes. As the same 5-man unit that started all the power plays tonight for the Blues starts this one. Rafchi in the corner. Back out to Craven. Trying to get it away from Courtnall. Turgeon operating in the corner. Sharks trying to get it out of there, and Rafchi does.
Good job by Mike Rafchi following the play up. Instead of getting it down, just stayed on the white jerseys. Ended up forcing a turnover, getting it out of the over the blue line himself.
Why does it always seem so tough for a team to start a period on the power play? I don't know. Here's Turgeon, and Rudy got a piece of it, and no one was in front for St. Louis. Duchesne over to McInnes. Back to Steve Duchesne. Tees it up. Saved by Rudy. Knocked down by Courtnall and scores.
Jeff Courtnall with his team-leading 28th goal of this year, showing great eye-hand coordination. Kelly Rudy makes the original save. Steve Duchesne with a shot from the point. You see him walk the blue line, get into a shooting position. Kelly Rudy made the glove save, couldn't hang on to it. And there you see Jeff Courtnall knock it out of the air. This is in danger of being high. It only has to be over the crossbar in order for that to be a high stick. But from ice level, you'll see that puck just below the level of the crossbar when Courtnall makes contact with it, and that goal will stand.
Well, he just disproved my theory that it's tough starting a period with a power play. Courtnall ties the game, his 28th of the season. Duchesne and McInnes get the assist. Now a steal for Marchment. A blast, Fuhr blocked it, rebound into a dangerous area in the slot, but it's cleared down by the Blues for icing.
Well, Brian Marshman jumping on an errant pass, taking a nice shot on Grant Fuhr. Got a little high on Fuhr. Made the save with the blocker. A lot of people only know Brian Marshman for his physical play, and in that first period had 2 big hits. He knows how to fire a puck too. I was in Chicago when the Blackhawks acquired him. He's got a very heavy slap shot. It takes him a while to get it off, but he can sneak it by goaltenders. And he certainly keeps the heads up on opposition players. Here you see him stealing that puck just inside St. Louis blue line, takes a shot high and hard. You see it go off the blocker there, the goaltender.
And it's cleared out of the corner by Pronger, out of the reach of Marchment. And Ragnarsson back to collect it for San Jose. 1-1 the score as the Blues have tied it here, early second period on a power play. And now an icing call as Pronger and Granato go heavily into the boards on that touch-up, and Pronger's stick, in fact, came up and caught Tony Granato in the face, and now we're going to get a penalty to Pronger for throwing an elbow down there.
Yeah, he definitely retaliated on this play. It was a foot race to the puck. Tony Granato almost gets there, and I think he makes contact with Pronger. He's just trying to lift there the arm of Pronger. Pronger didn't like it. Oh yeah, as he tries to elbow him, that's the shaft of Pronger's stick that comes in contact with that shield of Tony Granato. It's fortunate he was wearing it. You saw his helmet jolt there violently. As a result, oh, you're right, it's an elbowing call, and Chris Pronger will sit 2 minutes. And he obviously made contact with the face of Tony Granato. He's blinking his eyes, trying to shake that one off.
Pronger with 154 penalty minutes this season, second only to Kelly Chase of the Blues. So the Sharks, who have their only goal on the power play, go right back on it here, early second period. Granato seems to be all right, and there's some discussion as to where the faceoff's going to be in the Blues zone, and they decide to change it to the opposite circle. It was originally on the near side, and after some discussion with linesman Scott Driscoll and Mike Ricci, they moved it. So Pronger sitting for the elbow. 1-1 the score as Terry Yake wins the draw. McKinnis shot blocked by Friesen, but it hurt.
Oh, that hurts a lot. Marco Sturm did a good job getting in front of that shot. He knew he was going to block it, and it caught him right in the skate. There's not a lot of protection down there. It's basically just leather, and he takes this right off the ankle. It drops him momentarily. He gets back up. The best thing for him to do is to keep skating on it. Here you see the replay. St. Louis wins it cleanly. There you see Sturm, a beeline right out. You see it there go right off. That could have even been his toe. He blocks a shot, takes one for his team, and gets the puck out of his own end.
Sturm having an outstanding rookie season in the NHL, now with 30 points. That's fourth in team scoring. One ahead of another rookie who's had a great start, Patrick Marleau. And again from the draw, it's all the way back into the Shark zone. Ally Afraidy on 1 point with Ragnarsson. It's Sturm, McLean, and Ricci making up the rest of this first power play unit. From center, Afraidy's shot is tipped way up into the top row of the first deck here at the sold-out Kiel Center.
Well, Ally Afraidy making his presence felt since his return. 4 points in his last 3 games. Of course, the Sharks have won 2 of those games. And he's been a physical presence on the ice. I thought he might back off the physical aspect of his game. He's certainly been on the body in each of the 3 games we've seen. He was picked up by the Sharks back in '96 from the Boston Bruins.
Daryl Sutter has also had the luxury of using Ally Afraidy the way he wants to bring him back off the injury. Hasn't had to force more minutes out of him than he's needed to, especially with leads on the road. You can afford to shorten a guy's ice time in the third period when things are in hand, as was the case in Dallas on Saturday. Friesen at the side. Now out to Afraidy. Doesn't have a shot, gives it back to Ragnarsson. Out to Afraidy, and his shot is blocked. Conroy comes back the other way for the Blues. A pass tipped, and Rudy has to make a save off Afraidy's tip. And Afraidy ends up in the Sharks' net. Back the other way, Friesen loses an edge, run into by Gill. Afraidy back there coming up with the puck.
Nice defensive play by Al Iafrate. He was caught up ice on that play. It was a partial 2-on-1. He busted, though, to get back, dove to break up that pass. As you mentioned, deflected it towards his own goaltender. Then he slides into the net, and that's why he's taking his helmet off. He takes one in the head from the crossbar. He slides right into the crossbar. There's a shot that's blocked. He loses his balance. It's a partial 2-on-1 at this point. Al dives, times it perfectly. That shot coming right on net. Kelly Hrudey with the nice save. You see the momentum of Iafrate. He carries him into the net, and that's where he takes one right off the ear, it looks like, and off the crossbar, almost knocking the net off its moorings. Good reaction there, though, by Kelly Hrudey. He had to worry about the 2-on-1 and still made the save.
Hrudey shouting out to the power play unit that there's still 40 to go. Marchment, the pass, and it comes back to Eastwood, and he'll bang it down.
25, Marsh. Coming down the corner.
Here's Nichols. Wanted Craven. He gets it now at the blue line. Over to Mateau. Stefan skating to the point. Shovels it around for Nichols. Bernie checked there by Gill. Gill falls on the puck. Fawcett wants him to move it. They do. It comes in front. And Fuhr swept it aside with his glove. And the power play over now as Pronger's on the ice. Sharks have it. Nichols to the corner. Looking back at the point. No one there. Plays it behind the net for Craven. He's tied up by Turgeon. Duchesne can't get it. Now a chance for the Sharks. Bernie Nichols, but he lost the handle. Pronger comes wide, waiting for Turgeon, but then he bails out on a change.
Bernie came up with a puck in prime scoring real estate. He had a stick, though, just on his glove. Couldn't pull the trigger, and then ended up losing the puck in the slot.
McInnes to Hull. He just tips it down. Here's Iafrate. Shovels it ahead. Kind of a lazy pass by Iafrate, almost as if he thought there was icing.
He thought it was icing. I think he thought he heard a whistle, too.
Here he is in the zone, flattened by Bergevin. Lowry back to support as Iafrate had made the pinch, able to get the puck.
Al Iafrate came around the net. He was listening to instructions from Kelly Hrudey. I think maybe Kelly thought it was going to be icing also. He didn't hear a whistle, though, and he just threw one up. I'm sure he thought the play was dead.
Yape trying to haul it down. Here's Burr bringing it into the zone. Nice move on the boards. And he's tied up, and the Sharks can't hold it in at the point. Ragnarsson waiting for the zone to clear. Burr and McInnes tying up behind the play. Here's Bergevin for the Blues. Shovels a pass over to Yape. Terry Yape check. Now it comes to McLean. He'll finesse one ahead. Marco Sturm catching up to it. Sturm in on goal, and it trickles to Grant Fuhr, and he covers up. Good strong move to the net by Marco Sturm. We're tied 1-1 here in St. Louis. Look at that. Andre's using with 3 and Holder with 1. The only players with shots in that first period.
Wow.
This presentation of San Jose Sharks hockey is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to go places and do things you never thought possible. Fly Southwest Airlines. A Sharks fan enjoying a refreshment here in St. Louis. The Sharks enjoying this road trip so far. 4 out of 4 points, trying to make it 6 for 6 here tonight. Holder had it, lost it. Now it's picked up by the Blues' Scott Pellerin, back to Pronger. And the St. Louis captain feeds it across for McAlpine. Edmonton on top of Calgary 2-0 in the first period up in Alberta. So a good start for the Oilers. That's a huge game for Calgary. They win it. They're within 3 of the playoffs. Jeff Friesen hit hard by McAlpine. Crowd reacting to that as Pellerin brings it in and goes to the corner against Houston, and Pellerin hit hard.
Well, it's a good sign to see Jeff Friesen get up off a big hit, of course. Got a bit of a shoulder problem, came back and threw a nice check himself.
McAlpine to Eastwood. That comes right in front. Kelly Hrudey taking no chances. Covers up now behind the play. Friesen and McAlpine getting at it. And now Chase throws a punch at Friesen. Bill Holder jumps in, and Kelly Chase doing what Kelly Chase does pretty well, and that's be an agitator.
Well, that's something that the St. Louis Blues have done this period, has got involved physically a lot more. We saw a big hit on Al Iafrate by Mark Bergevin. There we saw a big hit by Chris McAlpine on Jeff Friesen, and we talked about the fact Jeff Friesen had hurt his shoulder about 3 or 4 games ago. Here you'll see the hit. Jeff Friesen doesn't see McAlpine coming, and it's right on his right shoulder. Friesen takes the brunt of it, looks up at the referee, and then gets up and tries to exact some of his own revenge.
And, you know, you've been traded before, Steve, but when the next game comes so closely against your former teammates, has to be a little bit of mixed feelings for you.
It's really tough. I mean, obviously, Todd Gill was a popular player here. He was a captain for over a year, and those friendships certainly don't die on the ice. The biggest thing, though, is making sure you don't pass to the wrong team when you're on the ice. He sees those teal jerseys. I'm sure a lot of times he wants to give it to them.
Now Sean Burr and Picard behind the play, getting together, and the emotion starting to come to the forefront here in St. Louis, thanks to some very physical play by both teams. And Mr. Chase out there again, barking over on the far side, and perhaps Mark Fawcett has had enough to where he's going to hand out some penalties here.
Yeah, I think he doesn't want this to get out of control, and as a result, Mark Fawcett, I believe, will be whistling off Sean Burr and possibly Kelly Chase.
It's actually Picard who's going off with Burr, and they'll get 2 minutes each for roughing.
Well, you see Brian Marshman was talking with Kelly Chase. They had a little set to in that first period. Brian Marshman had a big hit earlier on Campbell, and it was Kelly Chase who came over to have words with Marshman. Brian Marshman's played very smartly, though, in that Dallas game, involved physically, but didn't get any of the retaliation penalties that a lot of people come to expect, and that was a big game against Dallas. It was Brian Marshman who had hit Modano earlier, a questionable knee call. He was booed a lot in that game whenever he handled the puck, but playing within himself and playing a solid game defensively.
So Burr and Picard off for the roughing Miners. We're 4-on-4. Bergevin across, now to Brett Hull, who's been rather quiet so far. Ricci gives left side for Holder, and Holder makes a nice cut, gets to the puck momentarily. Now Ricci fighting off Pierre Turgeon. Sturm controlling it along the boards. He's given a shove by Bergeron. And then he's checked from behind, and no call. Fawcett saw it. Well, he's letting some things go and not others. Here's a broken play, and Hull will gather it back in for the Blues. Comes across the line in the middle of a line change, dumps it to the corner. Holder knocks it down, but it comes back to Hull. His shot saved by Hrudey, centered. Hrudey blocks that, and Holder will sweep it clear of the zone.
A smart play there by Brett Hull. He threw a changeup at Kelly Hrudey. Kelly Hrudey stayed with it. Made a nice save off the sharp angle.
Still hard to understand how Fawcett didn't see that hit from behind on Sturm, but we'll step aside. 12:37 left here in the second, all tied up at 1. That's completely a hit from behind. Let's see this closer angle. Oh.
Especially when he's that close.
Yeah. Come on.
Wow.
You got to be kidding me. And he's right. He's perfect position to see it.
Show us that last angle there that he had. It was perfect. This one, you see Bergevin look at the referee. Watch. After he makes the hit. Watch after he makes the hit. Watch him look at the ref. Right there.
Yeah. Eye contact. Yeah.
Tom Barrasso was pick number 5 by Buffalo in 1983. Congratulations if you got.
Back in St. Louis. Boy, this looks like a penalty to me here, Steve.
It certainly did. And the only reason I can think of, Mark Fawcett might have let it go. And here you'll see it hitting from behind. Dangerous play for Marco Sturm is because they're a 4-on-4. And after the hit, you'll see Bergevin look up at the referee right there, making sure he's not getting the call, and he didn't.
Back to the live action here at the Kiel Center. Sharks and Blues tied at 1. They have a power play goal each. Zusen for the Sharks, Courtnall for the Blues. Here's Jeff Friesen. He's tripped up. Play goes on. Courtnall, 2-on-1. He's got Yake heading for the net. The pass blocked by Ragnarsson, and he sweeps it to the board.
Nice play by Ragnarsson. Courtnall waited just a little too long there. The odd man rush. Nothing opened up for him. Didn't even get a shot on net.
This is Craven, and Xavier has it in his glove. So Murray Craven letting a shot go from the right point. Stops the clock with 11:52 left in the second period. Fuhr now the 6th all-time goaltender in NHL history in wins with 378, and he is one behind Patrick Waugh, and he's a couple ahead of Andy Moog. So there's a cluster of 3 of the top 10 of all time still active and kind of jockeying back and forth on the all-time wins list.
That's a very tight race there between those 3 active players, and obviously a goal of his is to get 400 wins in the NHL. Not too many goaltenders in that elite level. Gump Worsley, I think, the only goaltender now retired with 400 wins under his belt.
And the face-off staying in the blue zone. As Pronger gets it over to McAlpine. He lost the puck back to the point. Here's Rathje. Fakes the shot. Lets it go through a screen. Went wide. Now Burke. As the penalties are over. Back over to Lowry. He's cut off by Pronger. And the puck kept in by the Sharks. Behind the net it goes. And now there's some rough stuff going on away from the puck. We're going to get minors to Lowry and Pronger, I believe.
Well, Dave Lowry, a former St. Louis Blues, doesn't have any friends left on this team. He was going at Chris Pronger rather hard on the far boards, finishing his check again. Dave Lowry had a goal in his last, or 2 games ago, the game winner against the Los Angeles Kings.
It's going to be Lowry and Rayome. You could have taken your pick there. Both Rayome and Pronger were tied up with Lowry behind the play.
Well, that's a better trade for St. Louis. Oh, I see what started it. Pronger with the big elbow to start things. I don't think Dave Lowry liked it. Here he gives an extra shot to Pronger as he's down on the ice. Rayome comes to the aid of the fallen captain, and that's where he picks up his 2-minute minor.
Lowry got a piece of just about everybody there. So they get 2 minutes each for roughing here at 8:31. And some nastiness that really hadn't surfaced in this series up to this point this year is coming to the surface now, and perhaps it's that time of the year when everybody's adrenaline is pumping just a little bit faster.
Yeah, especially the second period, a lot more physical, and this is at least the 4th 4-on-4 we've seen tonight.
That'll be icing against the Blues as Bill Holder touches it up. As we mentioned, Mike Vernon not with the team tonight. We'd like to congratulate his wife, Jane, and Mike on the birth of their baby boy, Matthew Dean Vernon, born on this past Sunday, March the 29th, a healthy 6 pounds, 7 ounces, and congratulations to the Vernon family.
And Mike Vernon will be back tonight and ready to play in Pittsburgh on Wednesday.
And Mom and the kids will be watching. Here's Holden with a shot that was just tipped wide. Pellerin clearing it ahead to center ice for Conroy. Rathje back on defense for the Sharks. Takes Conroy to the boards, comes up with the puck, plays it around to McAlpine. Now Conroy behind the net. Rathje stays with him. Conroy having trouble making a play, and Sturm able to chop it out. Good pursuit by Rathje there from side to side as he stayed with Craig Conroy, who had a dangerous opportunity behind the net. Kelly Hrudey forced to come out and play this. Ragnarsson to Granato. Now to Friesen. Back to Granato. Saved by Fuhr. Rebound swept away. Now Ragnarsson behind the net. Moving to it is Bergevin. He's checked by Granato. Puck comes to Marchment. Here's Friesen in front as it dropped off to Shane. And Bergevin gets it back for the Blues. Now Bergevin trying to make it a 2-on-1 with Turgeon. Had to slow up. Hull the one-timer. And Hrudey the save. Now Hull again faking the shot. Gets it to Turgeon. He scores. Kelly Hrudey is injured.
That shot by Hull definitely hurt Kelly Hrudey. He didn't move much after he made the save. I think this catches him just above the pad and hits him right on the knee. And he was unable to get up after that blast. Kelly Hrudey still down on the ice. Wait till you see this one-timer. Brett Hull stepping into this shot, and that fells Kelly Hrudey. He's down. He can't get up. He tries his best to stop this attempt by Pierre Turgeon. There's no way, though, that he can get across the crease. He was basically just trying to crawl. And there's the shot that does the damage. You see that right off the top of the knee. I'm not too sure whether Kelly will be able to continue after that blast. And we might see Jason Muzzatti for the first time this year.
Well, there's Turgeon who gets the goal. My question is, where was Marcus Ragnarsson on the play as Turgeon got all alone in front of Kelly Hrudey, took that off his skates, kicked it up to the stick, and then put it in.
Yeah, there was definitely a breakdown deep in the Shark zone. Jason Muzzatti now walking back from the aisleway. I think he realizes he might have to limber up, get ready here. Kelly Hrudey still on the ice. But goaltenders have a pad, and you see it right there. You see that pad that's just above the goal pads. It's not very thick. And I think that's where he took the shot. And a Brett Hull shot going through that is still going to hurt an awful lot. You see, obviously it has to be thin. The goaltender has to have some ability there, able to bend his legs, bend his knees. Kelly Hrudey is up, though, now. You look at Brett Hull. He stepped into that one-timer and gave it everything he had.
Well, Muzzatti was up now. He is going to limber up a little bit as Hrudey tries to skate it off into the corner, and now the decision will be made by Kelly Hrudey. Here's the scoring play.
And it was almost a scoring opportunity for San Jose. It goes up ice the other way. You see Marchment late getting back. Hull comes into the slot, gets the shot. And that's exactly what happened. Ragnarsson loses Pierre Turgeon. He had him momentarily. I think he thought maybe one of his teammates had the puck. He thought it was going to be an easy out for the Sharks. He let Turgeon go. That was a mistake, and that got Turgeon a goal.
I think Hull's fake there right before he passed it caused Ragnarsson to look for the rebound and perhaps cheat a little bit into the slot. And the pass was on the mark. Muzzatti comes out. He'll talk to Hrudey. And Kelly says, no, go sit down, I'm all right. I think that's what he's saying. Yeah, he's motioning him back to the bench. So, Kelly Hrudey will stay in here, but the Blues have taken the lead 2-1. And now Daryl Sutter wants Kelly Hrudey out. He told Muzzatti to head back, and he wants Kelly Hrudey to at least take a breather here. So Daryl Sutter making this call here, and Jason Muzzatti, who became a Shark just last Tuesday at the trade deadline in a deal for Richard Brennan that we all expected was simply a deal to get an experienced goalie on the roster that the Sharks could perhaps expose in the expansion draft, changes completely, and now Jason Muzzatti is a Shark as he will face live ammunition here.
I think a week ago Jason Muzzatti didn't expect to be in this position. They knew at the time of the trade that he was picked up to be a third goaltender, possibly to be left exposed in the waiver draft or the expansion draft this coming summer. He played some in New York this year with the New York Rangers, was in the minors at the time of the trade, and was sent directly to the minors, as you had mentioned, Randy, right to Kentucky. Had played there. I had a chance to play with Jason Muzzatti in Hartford. He was a part of the Hartford organization 4 years ago, originally drafted by that team. Pretty good size, and He'll be thrown right to the Wolves here in his first game as a San Jose Shark.
So Jason Mazzotti in to replace Kelly Rudy. And the Sharks trailing 2-1. Brian Marchment plays it deep into the zone. Ricci will get it behind the net. Mike takes a hit from Todd Gill, comes out with the puck. Leaves it for Sturm. Marco Sturm. Gill's lost his stick and Sturm loses his balance. Here comes Turgeon with Hull. Hull with the puck. Turns away from Marchment, gives it for the blue line, but no one was there. I don't know what happened to Marco Sturm there. He just lost his head.
Yeah, he lost his balance. A nice play, though, by Todd Gill, who had lost his stick, still managed to get the puck up ice.
Another 2-on-1. McInnes waits the pass, and too late as Brett Hull was in a bad spot to receive it. But the Sharks getting caught up ice here. Something we haven't seen them do for most of the last 3 or 4 games is give up the odd man break. And it's happening with frequency here in the second. Chance for Burr in front. Now Lowry after it. It comes to Sutter back to the blue line, but we have a whistle. We're going to get penalties. And it looks like we're going to have offsetting penalties.
It looks like it's going against Dave Lowry and Al McInnes. Al McInnes with that excellent scoring opportunity up ice. He's one of the best players at changing his angles. He wound up for the big slap shot, froze Muzzatti, and then tried to throw it across to Brett Hull. Brett Hull unable to connect on that one-timer. And you'll see the Burr chance in front of the net. Good job by Ron Sutter to get the puck there. Puck is bouncing, though. Burr unable to get a stick on it. It was towards the end of this play that Lowry gets the slash right there on Al McInnes. Obviously, Al McInnes had done something earlier in the play to earn himself a 2-minute minor.
2 minutes each for slashing, and Kelly Rudy is back in goal. So Jason Mazzotti with a rare and brief Sharks appearance.
I think you're right. I think head coach Daryl Sutter just wanted him to come to the bench, Kelly, and just make sure he was feeling okay, that it wasn't just emotion and adrenaline that made the decision for him.
Here's McLean, front of the net. Holder just can't settle it for a shot. Now Ricci behind the net, watched by Pronger. Trying to protect that puck from the Big Blues defenseman. Ricci still working it on the boards. McLean there, comes out with it. John McLean trying to get it to his forehand. He's tied up by McAlpine and gives it away to Pellerin. Rathje to Bill Holder. Rathje having trouble with it. Pellerin almost picked it up.
Well, Rathje tried to play that off his skate, which isn't a bad play. He got a big bounce, though, a lively bounce off of that pass. Almost went right to Scott Pellerin.
Rudy trying to get a piece of it as Yake has it on the boards. Now Marco Sturm comes back, gets it for the Sharks. Here's McLean with some open ice. Makes a move in the neutral zone, broken up. Now here comes Yake. Down the left wing, the pass, the goal! Another odd man rush as the Sharks were caught short on defense, and it's 3-1 St. Louis.
Well, Terry Yake makes them pay in the neutral ice area. It's John McLean who's stripped of the puck. You see the San Jose Sharks furiously trying to get back. It looks like they've got good coverage, but right at the last second, Jim Campbell breaks away from his check, and you see him get his stick on the puck here. One-times it. Right under Kelly Rudy. Brian Marchment unable to get back on the streaking Campbell. Nice feed here, though. Nice feather backhand pass from Terry Yake right onto the stick of Jim Campbell.
Well, the second period exploding in the Sharks' face here. They had a solid opening period. I thought dominated the Blues, despite the fact that St. Louis had 3 power plays in that first period and 3 unanswered St. Louis goals, and it is 3-1 Blues, and that is another 4-on-4 goal against by the Sharks. Here comes Yake trying to get around Ragnarsson, and it's poked back over to this side. Bergevin had a blast, Rudy to save, and he'll cover it up with Yake right at the side. Well, the Blues have opened it up here in the middle period. They lead 3-1. Okay, we are now 4-on-4, 2-4, 9 against. That's terrible stat.
Yeah, that's not good.
NHL Breakout 98 coming up this weekend at Paramount's Great America, April 4th and 5th. If you'd like to sign your team up to play, call 408-977-4788. Even if you're not playing, it'll be a great weekend at Paramount's Great America. Here in St. Louis, a bad second period for the Sharks. They've given up 3 unanswered goals, and the Blues have a 3-1 lead now. 7:39 left in the second period. All of this coming in the midst of Kelly Hrudey being shaken up, but he's able to continue. He's back in the goal now. So the Sharks have their work cut out here in the second half of this game to try and erase what quickly has turned into a rather sizable St. Louis lead. Mike Grouchy steering the puck in offside.
Well, big Mike Grouchy, we've mentioned it a couple of times now, one of 2 Sharks to play in all the games this year. And a big reason why the Sharks have knocked their goals against down over last year by almost a full goal, 0.7 goals per game. They've been managed to lop off their total from last year. And in fact, when you look at the big 3 for the San Jose Sharks on defense, guys who have played a lot, Bill Holder, Marcus Ragnarsson, and Mike Grouchy, between those 3, they've only missed 3 games. That's been a huge plus for Daryl Sutter and the coaching staff, just having a solid core in defense, being able to play each and every night.
Marleau on the faceoff. It drops down to Iafrate. Rathje can't handle the pass. Now he gets it up the wing, but it's broken up, and Turcotte comes ahead with Pellerin. And the shot by Turcotte deflects off of Rathje and out of play. So a tough outing for Kelly Hrudey after such a spectacular performance in Dallas on Saturday afternoon when he just about completely shut down the Dallas Stars. Gave up the power play goal to Courtnall early, 55 seconds in. Then Turgeon on a play in which Hrudey was injured. Hard to blame him after that blast he absorbed from Brett Hull. And then on another odd man break, Jim Campbell scores.
Well, really hard to blame him for any of the goals that have been scored by St. Louis tonight. And in his last 14 outings, only 11 games where he's allowed 2 or less goals.
Marleau for Granato, but it's behind him. Now Friesen trying to get a hold of it, but McInnes will clear it out. Granato waiting on it, crosses center ice, dumps it ahead. McInnes will wait and settle it. Bill Holder got his skate on it, and it hopped up over the boards. Well, Friesen, Granato, and Marleau as a line have really been clicking, as we said, coming into tonight's game. Jeff Friesen, the team leader in scoring, has a 4-game point streak on the line coming into tonight's game. In those 4 games, 6 points on 4 goals and 2 assists.
Yeah, he's really shown not only the San Jose Sharks, but head coach Daryl Sutter an awful lot. Coming off that shoulder injury, has really responded with some strong games. As you mentioned, 4 goals in his last 3 games. Prior to that, he was sick on the last road trip. They went into the New York Rangers and the Buffalo Sabres and wasn't feeling 100%, still played well. And I think he's just really shown the coaching staff what he can do.
Well, this is the first adversity this team has faced on this road trip. Let's see how they deal with it here. Down by 2 goals with lots of time left to play. Kelly Chase unable to make a play along the boards. Now kicked out by Ron Sutter. And Burr will dump it on net. Eastwood up the middle wanted Kelly Chase. Ragnarsson back for it. Chase hooks him up, and now Ragnarsson can't find the puck. He's knocked down by Chase. Play goes on. Pronger shot, saved, and they score. It's Terry Yake. After Hrudey made the initial stop, he didn't know where the puck was. And we just might get Jason Muzzatti back in the game now.
And Daryl Sutter just walked down to that end of the players' bench and gave the nod to Jason Muzzatti. He's got his helmet on now. You see the play inside the zone. San Jose unable to get it out. And you see the shot coming on net. Kelly makes the original save. It sneaks by him off the post, and there you see Terry Yake, who assisted on that last St. Louis goal, scoring one himself. That shot by Pronger wasn't controlled by Kelly Rudy. It gets through him off the post, and there you see Terry Yake unchecked, just skating in and scoring probably the easiest goal he's scored this year.
That'll be the 9th of the year for Yake. Pronger and Picard pick up the assists. 4 unanswered goals for the Blues, and now they are threatening to blow the Sharks out of here unless Jason Muzzatti can slow things down and also get some support up ice, which the Sharks just did not give Rudy enough of. With the Rangers this year, Muzzatti 0-3-2 in 6 appearances. Turcotte steers it across the blue line. Now it's into the St. Louis zone. Jeff Friesen after it against McAlpine. Now Friesen tripped by McAlpine. Play goes on. Marleau battling in the corner, but Conroy pokes it ahead to Pronger. Now Friesen cross-checked to the ice by McAlpine. Finally, a call goes the Sharks' way, and they will get a power play here, and they need to score on it.
Well, Chris McAlpine has really picked up the physical aspect of his game in the second period. That's why St. Louis has had a lot of success. They've been on the body here, though, and I believe it's going to be a hooking call against McAlpine, although I can't really figure out why. It looked as if he knocked down Jeff Friesen in front of the net. But a great chance for San Jose to get back in it. Look on the left side here. Yeah, I think what he did was he took the legs out from Jeff Friesen right in front of the St. Louis Blues net. So a great opportunity now for San Jose on the power play to try and cut that lead.
Sutter sends out Granato with Marleau and Sturm this time as Friesen goes to the bench. Ragnarsson up on one point with Marchment at the other. They've been really targeting Jeff Friesen, the Blues have tonight. McAlpine's been working him over all night. And let's see if the Sharks can take advantage of their power play chance here. Behind the net, pass to Granato. He cycles it back to the opposite corner for Sturm. Now Tony after it again behind the St. Louis net. To Sturm, to the point. Ragnarsson stick handle. Sturm gets it down to Granato. Trying to center it for Marleau, who's parked in front of the net. And now Pronger will slap it out as he got a fortuitous bounce off the glass.
Well, St. Louis knows they're building better than anyone. You see them getting the puck up on the glass an awful lot. We've seen some funny bounces. They know all about that.
Mike Eastwood. And Ragnarsson uses his body to slow that puck down. McInnes off the boards. Sharks have it in the corner. It's Friesen. Plays it around to Sturm. Marco takes his time to Marchment, and it came through the crease, and no one could get a stick on it. Held in by Marleau. His last tip, that hits the glass behind Fuhr. And Bergevin will dump it down, and that leaves 54 on the power play.
Well, smart play by Brian Marchment on the power play, jumped in from the point. One time the puck went wide by about 6 inches on the left post.
Burr into the corner for Ricci. Now Burr digs it out, gives it back to Mike Ricci. Burr has a look at the net. He's tripped up. Play goes on. Friesen to Iafrate. At the side, Ricci a shot. Fuhr with the save. And Sean Burr waiting on the doorstep, but the puck didn't drop out.
Well, Sean Burr tries to pull a Jeff Courtnall here, knocking this one out of the air. Good decision here by Al Iafrate on the point. Instead of taking the shot, realizes there's an odd man situation down low. It's Ricci and Burr. Ricci tries to get the puck to Burr, and there you see Burr as he tries to swat it out of the air. Fuhr was quicker with it to make the save with his glove, and here you see the pass to himself by Jeff Friesen. Nice move there off the backboards, then down deep to Marco Sturm, and that's where you see Brian Marchment jumping in from the point, getting an opportunity on net, just shooting it a little wide. Grant Fuhr played 79 games for the St. Louis Blues 2 years ago. It's an NHL record. He had 76 consecutive starts.
Ricci to take the draw against Darren Turcotte. 3:48 left here in the second period. And the Sharks have seen a 1-0 lead unravel in a big way. One of their worst defensive periods of the year. Iafrate. Now in front of the net. A chance for Ricci, but he has to come the other way with it. Now to Burr. He's got Friesen in front. Friesen knocking it down. Shot kept out by Fuhr. Pronger trying to get it in the corner, but Friesen's got it. Friesen shoots. Save. Now Iafrate with a man coming out of the penalty box. McAlpine had that puck hop over his stick again. And how many times tonight have we seen the Sharks get a bad hop? Here comes Gill. Shot saved by Muzzatti as he got the blocker on it. Here's Yank out of the corner. Tried to get it down to Campbell, but Patrick Marleau there. Marleau clearing it up the wing. Here's Tony Granato. Out of the net comes Fuhr. Tries to work it by Granato. Tony with it in the corner. Trying to center it for Lowry. Lowry goes behind. Here's a chance and a shot, but it's blocked by Yank. Marleau into the corner. It comes out to Terry Yank. And he'll play it up the middle and get it out of the zone.
Well, nice give and go there. Dave Lowry back to Tony Granato, who got a shot on net. Fuhr was there for the stop.
Here's Campbell. Skates in on Zuzin, but offside are the Blues back at the blue line. 4-1. St. Louis leading here in the second period. Go Flames, go. Penalty. Chase. No, they're getting their chances. And he just gave him a 10-minute misconduct. Ooh. Way to go, Kelly. 2 and 10.
Okay. Well, tonight's player profile is Stéphane Matteau, as you see, 23 goals in 120 games with St. Louis between 95 and 97. Played on a line last year with Harry York and Jim Campbell. Of course, Harry York just traded at the trade deadline to the New York Rangers. Very effective line that got lots of ice time last year under Mike Keenan.
Sharks have a power play. Kelly Chase at the end of that last sequence got a 2-minute penalty for interference, and then he picked up a 10-minute misconduct. So the Sharks on the power play here late in this second period, and they need a goal badly. Ricci trying to steer it to Marchment. It's kept at the point by Ragnarsson. Now Sturm down low behind the net for Ricci. Bergevin trying to get to it. And Bergevin falling on it in the corner. One thing the Sharks have not been able to get on their power play tonight is the perimeter shot from Iafrate. He's not on the ice right now, but stepping on, and it just hasn't been there now on 5 power plays.
Now, they haven't had a lot of possession down deep. Their last power play relatively successful. Not a good scoring, a lot of good scoring opportunities from out front. As you see, 1 for 4 tonight on the power play, 5 shots. Mike Ricci, though, they are doing a good job getting on the body, trying to force a turnover. He got the turnover. Unfortunately, a couple of players fell on the puck, and as a result, Grant Fuhr will get the whistle off to his left.
Granato was moving to the dot. Now Sean Burr will take this draw against Darren Turcotte. 1:52 left in the second period. And Turcotte wins the faceoff, and Pronger sends it the length of the ice. Rosati will call for Rafchi to come and get it. Iafrate lifts it ahead to Jeff Friesen. Friesen pulls up, gives to Iafrate at the point, and again it takes a bounce actually over Rafchi's stick as they had changed sides. Now back up the middle, and Pronger intercepts and sends it down again. And the Sharks continuing to have problems establishing their power play.
You have to wonder about the ice conditions too. There, Jeff Friesen throwing one back. It was rather quick to Rafchi. You saw it bounce twice. 2 big hops and over the stick of the big Mike Rafchi.
Marleau leaving it go to Friesen. Friesen plays it back up the wing. Nobody there at the point for the shot. Bellerin just hammers it down as Iafrate had pinched deep into the zone. 25 left to go in the power play. and I don't think there's a shot yet. Marlowe hit as Sutter tries to center it for Lowry. Darryl Sutter just cycling his 4 lines now as this group's out on the power play with Marlowe. Here's Ragnarsson, bouncing puck again. Finally settles it and gets it over to Marlowe. Patrick all the way to the point. To Sutter. His shot blocked by Bergevin. Around to Ragnarsson. Sutter and the Blues bring it out to center as Turcotte bangs it off his skate and now sends it down with 15 seconds left in the period.
Well, a nice decision by Marlowe late in that power play. He got the puck down low. Ron Sutter took the shot. Nice defensive play by Mark Bergevin to block it.
Turgeon behind the net. At the side, Turgeon comes falling into the net in front of Mazzotti. Now Rayome and Ricci coming together at the buzzer, but that will be all for the second period, a period the Sharks would just as soon forget. They led 1-0 after 1, all Blues in the second. At the end of 2 periods, it is St. Louis 4 and the San Jose Sharks 1.
Just want to go 2 or just 1?
He wants 2 stick mics, but only you'll have the IFB.
You want
Put this on the floor.
Frank, help me with the title here for the Chiron.
Help us with your official title. Director of Pro Development.
Director of Pro Development.
Sorry. No, I don't always be leery of a guy with a big title.
Act 684. Act 722. Act 73. Act 811. Act 858. N5. Act 961.
We are back live in St. Louis, our second intermission, and the St. Louis Blues leading the San Jose Sharks by a score of 4-1. Time once again for our Cellular One intermission report as the Sharks continuing this road trip here in St. Louis. And joining us now is the Sharks' Doug Wilson, the Director of Pro Development. And Doug, before we talk about this hockey game, I do want to reflect for a moment because I don't want to forget later on Murray Craven's 1,000th game. You're in that rather elite club, and you had to make a little more room for him tonight, and that has to be a big thrill for Murray tonight.
Well, it is. It's something that he'll look back at the end of his career and realize that not only is it a testament to his commitment to the game, but his pain level, obviously, especially the way he plays. And it is an elite group, and my hat's off to Murray. I'm proud of him.
All right. Let's talk about that second period. We didn't know what exactly we'd be facing here when we invited you up before the game, but obviously some breakdowns for the Sharks. How did you see it in that period?
Well, exactly that. The odd man rushes is something we haven't been giving up recently when we're playing well, and that you get into 4-on-4 situations where the team is talented as St. Louis with Hull and McInnes and Turgeon. That's going to come back to haunt you.
Obviously, the Sharks had been doing very well on this road trip up to this point, and they still have 20 minutes to continue that trend. What's been the change since the 4-game losing streak that kind of put the Sharks in that tough spot to now where they're right back in the hunt, do you think?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. I think the trade deadline really looms over people's minds. You know, we have some older players too that were looking at it. I think we showed them the commitment by not only keeping the players but adding players like Brian Marchment and Joe Murphy that we are in for the battle to make the playoff run. And we've had a couple of guys been nicked up, but that's around the league. So no excuses. I just think the deadline, the addition of 2 players, which gave us a little bit of an extra jump, and realizing right now the commitment that's needed to get in the playoffs, because anything less than that is a failure for us this year.
Talk specifically about the acquisition of Brian Marchment. We're seeing him here tonight, and once again he's shown us that ability to initiate the open ice hit and be kind of a troublemaker out there at times. What exactly did you as a group in the front office key on as to what he would bring to the Sharks when you went and got him?
Well, we identified some elements that we needed in our back end, and the one thing that Brian does, he takes people out of their comfort zone when you play against them. As you saw in Dallas the other night, and here teams get very preoccupied with playing with him, but otherwise players don't like to go to the front of the net, or they come across the blue line very leery of taking a hit from Brian. The other thing about Amash is he's always been one of the most popular players on his teams, and his skill level, if you watch him play, people don't realize. To me, he's a top 4 defenseman in this league, and it's a great asset for us to have now.
I guess one of the toughest things for fans and for people in management, which you're still somewhat new to in the Sharks organization, is patience. It's a hard thing when you're sitting up in a situation like this and watching and waiting for a team to develop. How do you deal with that whole patience aspect, making the transition from player now into management?
Well, you know, the patience is in the big picture. We know where we're going. We're very excited, obviously, about the young players and the plan that we have in place. While saying that we're patient, getting back to our commitment to make the playoffs. I mean, we go day by day, and games like this were very important on our schedule at this point. So we're patient in the big picture, but a sense of urgency in what we have to accomplish this year. I have got to think down 4-1 in a situation like this too. You're looking at how this team would respond in a situation like this, because you're going to get in tough spots if you get into the playoffs too. Well, it is. It's a sign of character, and we've responded very well this year, and there's been no give up. But we can't even look at this game as being over, and there's no chance that any thoughts of that are even in anybody's mind in the dressing room. This time of year, even though the last couple of games we haven't played necessarily well, we've won the games, and you get the points however you can. And a comeback tonight, it's something that if you can find and scratch and claw and find a way to even get 1 point, that's the victory we need.
Doug Wilson, thank you for the visit.
Thanks, Rainey.
And we'll be back with more from St. Louis here on KICU. The Sharks will have to come from behind if they're to keep their streak going tonight.
Hey, Sharks fans, I'm Kim Vestal.
And I'm John McLeod from Kara 105.7 FM, radio home of the San Jose Sharks.
And it's time for yet another name drawn in the Sharks Getaway Giveaway, presented by Southwest Airlines.
If your name appears on the screen in a few seconds, you'll have 10 minutes to call 1-800-564-KICU.
And if you do, you'll win 2 round-trip tickets to any Southwest Airlines destination. So let's see who tonight's winner could be.
Remember, you can't win if you don't enter. So enter to win now.
Listen to Kara 105.7 FM or watch 36 KICU TV for details. And go Sharks!
Screw up a whole season. Huh? Yeah. What's the first one? Our second intermission continues from St. Louis, where the Blues lead the Sharks 4-1. Time for our Sun Microsystems Cyber Mailbox, an opportunity for you to forward a comment or a question to us here at KICU. You do that by sending your email to sharkstv@sjsharks.com. Question number 1 tonight. The International Hockey League is experimenting with a 4-quarter game. What do you think? That question coming to us from Bill in San Jose. In fact, part of that experiment took place this past weekend. Experimenting is fine, but I think that to change the 3-period format that the National Hockey League has lived under from its existence really rips away at the very core of the sport and the fiber upon which it's built. It would be the same as going to the National Football League if some advertising executive came up with the brilliant idea of saying, why don't you guys play 3 periods instead of 4 quarters? I think it's pie in the sky. I think it's just being experimented with to satisfy somebody at a TV network, but I don't think they're ever going to implement it.
You know, I agree with you. I'm a traditionalist myself when it comes to hockey, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and I don't think that's broke right now, so I don't think that's going to come about anytime soon.
I can think of a lot of other changes before that one. All right, question number 2 speaks more to your line of knowledge here, Steve. What components make up a strong forward line combination? Chris from Cupertino asking that question.
Well, a very good question, and I think the biggest component is probably chemistry. And obviously a lot that plays into that is having a guy with maybe some size and toughness on the line, having a guy with some speed, and then having a guy who can fire a puck. In a team I played on that actually showed all those attributes, the line of Mike Bossy, Clark Gillies, and Mike Bossy. Brian Trache, Mike Bossy, and Clark Gillies. An excellent line, scored a lot of points in the early 80s, and they had all 3 of those things going for them. The most important thing, they got along off the ice, just great chemistry on the ice.
Now, my question is, how would you, Steve Conroy, change the Sharks lines in the third period so they can score 4 goals?
Well, if I knew that, I'd probably be behind the bench. You're going to see this team get a little more physical. I think that's the biggest thing that was lacking in the second period.
All right, that's it for the Cyber Mailbox. Again, please feel free to forward your questions and comments to us. And we'll be back with highlights. They will be all St. Louis highlights when we come back.
It's Ringo Starr.
He said, "I'm okay." Second period scoring summary brought to you by Pepsi. All of it St. Louis. They were down 1-0. Then Courtnall scored on the power play. Turgeon put them in the lead. Campbell at 11:59 made it a 2-goal lead. And then Terry Yake with his 9th of the year at 14-18. That was it for the second period, but it helped St. Louis build up a 4-1 lead. They are out shooting the Sharks 17-10. The power play is now actually in the Sharks' favor. They are 1 for 5. And we're underway with the third period. The Sharks need a huge one here tonight as Fuhr grabs it right off the opening faceoff. And we'll see, as you predicted, Steve, if the Sharks turn up the physicality here in the third period. There's Kelly Rudy over on the bench, and just as we were coming back out of commercial, we had a tight shot of Kelly, and he was talking to Mike Rathje beside him saying, "I'm okay."
Well, that's good news for the San Jose Sharks. I wonder if you'll feel okay tomorrow around this same time. Normally when you get a shot like that, the Brett Hull shot off the knee, you might tend to feel it a little more the next day. We'll keep our eyes on Kelly Rudy over the next couple of days to see how he responds to that blast.
If you joined us late, Jason Mazzotti, the backup, and in goal tonight in place of Rudy. Now cleared off the glass and out of play. Well, Calgary has scored up in Edmonton, and they are now in the second period. That says first, but it is well into the second, and Edmonton leading the Flames now 2-1. If the Flames win that game, as we said earlier, they're within 3 of the playoffs and 1 point of the Sharks. If they lose, they're 7 out of the playoffs. That's a huge swing for the Flames.
Well, it sure is, and it's hard to believe the Flames are even anywhere close to being in a playoff hunt. They went on a little streak over the last 8 games, 5 wins and a tie, and that's put them right in the thick of things.
Shot blocked by Iafrate. Now Ricci trying to get it out of trouble, but the Blues hang on. McInnes from the point, trying to force it by Marco Sturm, and a rather odd whistle as Iafrate was shaken up after he blocked that shot.
Oh, that was an Al McInnes blast, and I don't know whether Iafrate was down before the shot or after. Here you see McInnes winding up, and it goes through a few sets of legs. Al turns and gets it in the side of his right leg, it looks like. He can't see it for the bodies in front of him, and as he turns right at the last second, check that. That's the inside of his left foot. Not a lot of protection there. That felled the big man. He went down and hobbles off the ice.
Now those two boys can both shoot the puck, as can Brett Hull. Probably be safe in saying 3 of the hardest slap shots in the NHL. Hull, McInnes, and Iafrate.
Yeah, all 3 of those shots over 100 miles an hour when standing still. So, you know, when they skate down the ice, they've got some velocity behind those pucks.
Here's a break in front of the Blues net as the puck hit the referee Fawcett, with McInnes just wristing it out, and that still had something on it. Now Turgeon forcing it into the Shark zone. Centering pass, McInnes shot, save, rebound, score. Pascal Réaume as the Blues take a 5-1 lead.
That's the 3rd time tonight we've seen a white jersey in front of the San Jose net, unchecked. And you see the original blast coming from the point. Nice save by goaltender Jason Muzzatti. Here you see it come back to Al McInnes. One times it, the save by Muzzatti off his right leg, right to Réaume. And it's Marco Sturm, who wasn't in a real good position to get back on the winger. Pascal Réaume scores his 4th goal of the year.
This comes a minute into the 3rd period, and that's a killer. The Sharks needed some momentum coming out of the dressing room. It was going to be a long shot anyway. Now it's a miracle. There's a shot off the post by Courtnall that got by Muzzatti. And Marshman will get it back behind the net. He's tied up by Yake, who is able to get the turnover the Blues' way.
Well, they know they'll score on their next rush up the ice. It was Jeff Courtnall who ended up taking a shot as he was covered right off the left post behind Muzzatti.
Now Campbell, who has a goal tonight, tees one up. Muzzatti the glove save, and he'll get it across to Murray Craven. Craven held up coming through the neutral zone, and he dumps it down the ice. Réaume's goal was his 4th from McInnes and Hull at 1:06. Pure sending it right to the stick of Sean Burr. In front it comes. A loose puck at the side. Ron Sutter was being held, and there'll be a penalty as a result. Chris McAlpine had Ron Sutter in a bear hug and ripped his hat right off him.
Ron Sutter would have had a great chance to score here. Sean Burr just putting one at the net. Sutter was trying to get turned around. He knew there was a loose puck. McAlpine prevented him from getting to it, though. As you mentioned, had a pretty good bear hug on Sutter. Sutter tried to slip away, ended up losing his helmet. There you see the loose puck. Sutter knows where it is, can't get to it as he's all tied up by McAlpine. Chris McAlpine will get the holding penalty.
Time of the penalty, 2:16.
The power play coming early here in the 3rd period, but it's already 5-1. Sharks 1 for 5 on their power play tonight with 5 shots. Their only goal tonight coming back in the 1st period on Zuzin's power play goal.
Well, it's unfortunate for the Sharks to start the 2nd period, 55 seconds in. It was Jeff Courtnall scoring. And now just a minute into this 3rd period, Pascal Réaume gets a goal. And as you mentioned, they're real backbreakers when they score at the beginning of the period.
From the face-off in front, Fuhr blocks a shot directed toward the net, and it's cleared down. Craven giving it right side, fired in by Ricci. Caroms over to Tony Granato, who falls, and Pronger clears it out. Now Darren Turcotte with good wheels trying to reach it. Muzzatti trying to keep it away from him. Turcotte still battling away in the corner, and the Sharks able to get a hold of it.
Jason Muzzatti came out to play the puck. Turcotte guessed right, took the boards away. Muzzatti put it right into his skates. Unfortunately, his other playing partner on the penalty kill was changing. He had no support.
Ragnarsson back as the forwards change up. McLean playing it back over to Ragnarsson. Ragnarsson lifting it deep into the St. Louis zone. McLean trying to get things established here. Shot by Iafrate. That hit Fuhr up high. Sharks trying to keep it in. Marchment tying up Pellegrin. Now McLean tees it up. And Fuhr robs him with a great glove hand save. Oh boy, what a stop by Grant Fuhr off John McLean.
Well, Fuhr's best save of the game so far, John McLean, who's got a heavy slap shot. He winds into this one. You see him with plenty of time, and in close too, about 25 feet out. Had a chance to make it in on the right side of the net. And you see Grant Fuhr in full extension here. Great flexibility, catching with that right hand. Makes the big glove save and robs John McLean of a sure goal.
Still 39 seconds left in the power play. The Blues leading 5-1, and they have scored 5 unanswered goals. 4 of them on Kelly Rudy, and the 5th on Jason Muzzatti. Here's Iafrate, and he shot it high. Eastwood after it for the Blues. Iafrate tying him up in the corner. Ducks have time for another rush or two here as they come up the middle. McLean lobbing it ahead, wanted Bernie Nichols. Turcotte plays it to the boards. Pronger's there, and he'll fire it around and out.
Well, Chris Pronger isn't a real flashy player, but he certainly gets the job done in his own end of the rink. As being a real stalwart for the St. Louis Blues defense. Uses his size very well. He's got a huge reach. Uses that very well in killing penalties.
Steve Duchesne had trouble with that puck. Now he's wrapped up in the corner by Nichols, but it comes out to McAlpine, and here come the Blues across center ice. Rayon trying to come wide on Rafty. Mike with the puck behind the net, checked by Turgeon. Now Turgeon kicks it up to his backhand. Lowry trying to steer it clear of trouble, and it's cleared past center ice. Steve Duchesne. And that's turned over. Furr tried to one-time it in front of the net. Here's Lowry into the corner. Glove down by Sutter. Back to Lowry. Behind the net, Furr having trouble settling the puck. Furr just finally golfs it in front. There was nobody there. He had Lowry beside him, but came front of the net instead. Hull wants a shot, gets it down low to Turgeon. Now Turgeon back in front. Here's McKinnon. He just steers it low, and it's gathered in by Muzzatti with 14:36 left. The Blues with a big lead here at home.
What I haven't seen is Bernie Nichols. Is Bernie being around?
Yeah. This third period is brought to you by Sprint PCS. It's the clear alternative to cellular. Back here in St. Louis with the Blues cruising with a 5-1 lead over the Sharks. Courtnall steps on it at center ice, loses his edge. McInnes there and throws it back to Todd Gill. Gill had the game-winning goal for St. Louis on Saturday night as they beat Detroit. Here's Terry Yank with a drop pass. Courtnall shot saved by Muzzatti, and he'll cover up the rebound. Pacific Bell is looking for the ultimate fan of the game. All you need to do to win is figure out 12 clues, and 1 clue will be given per game now through April 7th. Tonight's clue: who has scored the most hat tricks for the Sharks as a Sharks player? Entry forms are available at the arena and at the Sharks website, but they must be received by April 11th. The grand prize includes 4 glass seats for the April 18th Sharks game against Calgary. Faceoff stays in the Shark zone. 14:02 left here in the third. Ragnarsson. Now to send it over to Murray Craven. And this will be one of those momentous nights that he'll just as soon forget about the outcome of the game. Craven playing in his 1,000th NHL game tonight. Ragnarsson trying to come out of his end, up the wing for Craven. Now he connects to Mateau. Michel Picard back to the Blues. Over to Pronger. At the side, Mateau scores! Grant Fuhr took his eye off Stefan Mateau. He jams it in, and it's 5-2.
And that's Stefan Mateau's 3rd goal in 4 games against the St. Louis Blues. He scores against his former team. Good work by Craven down low, getting on the body, and it looks like Mateau's in a harmless area. Behind the crease, you see the pressure there by Craven, forces the turnover, goes right to Mateau, and he surprises Grant Fuhr, leaning away from his post slightly. You see the turnover come here. Good work there by the defense, getting the puck to Mateau. Mateau, just with a little wraparound attempt, surprises Fuhr, and he scores the goal.
13th of the year for Mateau, as he is close to equaling his 16 goals last year here with the Blues. So it's 5-2 now.
Time of the goal, 6:36.
Here's a break for St. Louis, 2-on-1. Turgeon with Rio, and Mazzani stretches out to make a huge stop. Back the other way come the Sharks. Ricci in the corner, trying to center it for Sturm. Now Marco picks it up in the corner. Down low to Ricci. And Ricci unable to control it as Turgeon gets it to center ice and just dumps it in.
Well, that's a big save by Jason Muzzatti. It was a 2-on-1. Rayon broke through the middle, redirected on his backhand, and as you mentioned, Jason Muzzatti stacking his pads, getting across his crease, making a huge save for the Sharks.
Ragnarsson up the boards for Lowry. He'll backhand it down as Todd Gill gathers it in for the Blues. 12-17 left to go here in the third period. This is Yake up the middle, splits the D, and he missed the net. Terry Yake with a great move to get open for the shot. Now McInnes forcing it back in. Marchment, who got an assist on the Mateau goal, clearing it up the wing.
Hard to believe Terry Yake has played in the minors this year. He showed some of his moves and his speed. Excellent move by the former Hartford Whaler. Just couldn't finish on Jason Muzzatti.
Both teams change on the go. Granato across center ice. Pronger has it. Back down to Mike Raffji. Here comes Turcotte. Waits. Pass. And it's wide. Conroy with the shot. Now Turcotte out of the corner. In front, a save by Muzzatti. And a penalty coming up to Ally Brady as he was roughing up Craig Conroy, and he'll get the penalty, and the Blues will go on the power play. 5-2, the Blues in front here on KICU. I'd like their chances a whole lot better at 4-2.
Yeah. Pascal Riom, who scored the Blues' last goal, almost gets another one. Perfect feed here from Pierre Turgeon. He backhands it. What a nice save by Jason Muzzatti, stacking his pads. And here's a great individual effort by Terry Yake. Good speed over the line. 1-on-3, still manages a way to weave through the three blue shirts. Misses on the backhand.
So the Blues go onto the power play for the 5th time tonight. They are 1 for 4 with only 2 shots. Portnoy to the side for the pinching Steve Duchesne. And Mateau will clear it out.
That was a nice play by the Blues. Duchesne had crept in from the blue line. Nobody from San Jose picked it up, realized that a nice feed through the box. Duchesne just missed on the forehand.
Muzzatti gets it down to Andre Ziusin. He was bumped by Portnoy. Now a chance for McInnes, and as he teed it up, he lost control. And now Ricci, hook coming out of the zone, trying to send Sturm in on a break. McInnes across for Duchesne. Backing in is Ziusin on the kill. Takes the legs out from under Brett Hull. Now loose puck at the side. Portnoy gets it back. Duchesne to McInnes. Across for Turgeon. Wanted Portnoy in front, but Ricci's there to intercept and clear it down.
Good job by Mike Ricci. He was tired towards the end of that penalty kill. Came down deep to help out his defense and cut off that pass right through the slot area.
Now Granato after it, but Pronger using the boards to get it over to Todd Gill. This is Terry Yake. He has 1 goal tonight. Riom shot saved by Muzzatti, and Campbell skated past the rebound. Kept in by the Blues. Muzzatti plays it along the wing. Yake gets it. Now back to Friesen. And Granato coming up with it, waiting for Iafrate to come out of the penalty box. And then he dumps it down. 9:05 left to go as the Sharks kill that power play.
Well, some players that Joel Kenville normally doesn't have to count on having very strong games here. Pascal Riom and Terry Yake have really picked it up a notch in the second and third periods, playing very strong games for St. Louis.
Picard, checked by Rafji. Puck comes the other way. Ziusin trying to center it. After it is Sutter. Around to Burr. Burr back over for Sutter. Intercepted by Duchesne. And now Conroy up to center ice. Ragnarsson comes to the other side for Ziusin. Stacked up at the blue line are the St. Louis forecheckers. Ziusin turns away. Now Riom with a hit on the far side against Lowry. And Riom kicking away at that puck, made contact with Lowry, and he didn't appreciate it. 8:10 left in the third. We will take a break. I have triple checked these stats, and that is the Sharks' worst period of the year. They've never given up 4 in a period all year.
Is that right, huh? You're probably right. I can't think offhand.
No.
What about in Edmonton or Calgary? Edmonton, the beginning of the year, the game we missed.
I know the one you mean. It's right around Christmas time.
Is it 3 goals they got?
At Edmonton, they lost 6-1, back-to-back 3-goal periods.
Okay. Yep, you're right. No 4 game.
Worst period at the worst time. Well, the 1998 Summer Hockey School's right around the corner. Coming up in June, featuring the beloved Drew Remenda from the Sharks Radio Network. He'll be there to help teach skills and techniques for players of all levels. If you'd like more info, that's the number to call, 999-5844. That's Drew Remenda. He's the one on the right.
He's the one in the middle, isn't he?
I can see our cameraman's reflection off the top of his head. A pass for Craven. And that'll be icing called against the Sharks as McAlpine is back to touch up. And Murray Craven skates back up the ice. Obviously a disappointing night for the Sharks as a group. This is a night when they have played their worst period all year. Until tonight, they had not given up 4 goals in a period. And, well, I guess it couldn't have come at a worse time down the stretch here in a playoff race. Should the Oilers prevail tonight, and they are leading Calgary 2-1 right now in the third period at Edmonton, the Sharks would be 3 points back with 1 game in hand on Edmonton. Palmer, a shot blocked by Muzzatti. But it's turned right back over. Craven gave it away up the middle. It comes to McAlpine. His shot and they score.
Well, the Sharks get running around in their own end. And off the turnover, the points are wide open. And you see there, McAlpine takes the shot. He had a Shark forward coming out on him. I don't know whether it changes direction. You see Murray Craven heading out to the point. Muzzatti gets a piece of it. Not quite enough, though, to stop the puck. I think that's off the inside of his blocker and into the net. Chris McAlpine makes it a 6-2 hockey game in favor of the Blues.
So Chris McAlpine scores only his second ever NHL goal. And Turgeon and Hull pick up the assists at 12-16. Brett Hull has rather quietly picked up 3 assists in this hockey game. 7:24 left now, and the Sharks just want this thing to end, but the Golden Brett enjoying the night, as are the Blues and their fans. A sellout crowd here at the Kiel Center tonight, and it is the 15th sellout for the Blues in their last 16 games, as the fans in this great hockey city are really coming out in huge numbers now to support this St. Louis team that looks pretty much like it's going to have home ice advantage in at least the first round of the playoffs. And unless things drastically change, they will host the LA Kings in the first round.
Yeah, hockey is alive and well back in the city of St. Louis. They love their team. They're supporting their team again. Ever since Mike Keenan was relieved of his duties last year, slowly the fans have started trickling back here in St. Louis, and they've got a team now that the city can be proud of.
Raffji poking it up ice. Now here's John McLean. Gets it in front for Ricci, but it's flubbed down by Campbell. Sturm digs it out of the traffic. McLean tees it up. That hit something before it came to Grant Fuhr. Off a skate, it looked like. Marchment to McLean. On to Friesen, who doesn't get far. Now Friesen turning, playing it ahead to Patrick Marleau. Marleau trying to get free of the check from Conroy, makes a nice move. Now gets front of the net, but doesn't get a shot away. Back come the Blues. Muzzatti poking that one aside. Here's Turcotte. He wanted Conroy. Muzzatti way out of the net! And he recovers just in time. And it is ragged out there right now. Here's Turcotte. Saved by Muzzatti. He wasn't sure where it went. It came to this side for Patrick Marleau.
Prior to that save, he had the puck go off 2 different people in front of him. Muzzatti did. Finally, Turcotte tried to jam it in. I think maybe Muzzatti got a stick on it just as it went wide at the right post.
Right now, the Blues are out shooting the Sharks 28-14. Here's a break now for Sutter. Over the line with Lowry. Sutter getting it to the side, then took a hit from Palmer. And it's cleared back out by St. Louis with 5:14 left to go. Muzzatti steering it over to the other side for Zuzin. As the Sharks just try and win a few battles here now in the third period with the outcome clearly no longer in question. Sutter bangs it off the board. Sharks will execute a line change here and try and forget about this one in a hurry and start thinking about Pittsburgh. There's a shot and a tip save by Fuhr. Burr didn't get all of that. Ragnarsson now along the boards. Works it by Turgeon, but it's cleared out right to the stick of Stepan Matteau.
Sean Burr jumped on some sloppy play by St. Louis just inside their own blue line. Caused a turnover, took the shot. It was bouncing when he shot it. Didn't get all of it. Grant Fuhr was there for the save.
4:21 left in the third period. We'll come right back to St. Louis. Oh well, doesn't matter how many you lose by, it's still just 2 points.
Yeah, that's right. If you're going to lose big.
Yeah. Tonight's Bud Light storyline, it's all the Blues. They scored 4 times in the second period to wipe out a 1-0 Sharks lead. Kelly Hrudey was roughed up by a Brett Hull slap shot in that second period, and Hull's had a pretty nice night with 3 assists. A shot from the point that Fuhr stops. On top of the mesh, it's knocked down to the side. Here's Matteau. Wanted Craven up the middle, but he couldn't reach it, and now Brett Hull brings it out and just throws it in from center ice. Here's McInnes turning away from Matteau. Rayom with it now. Ragnarsson leans into him. Rayom with it. 2 whacks at it, and Mazzotti will cover it up as Pascal Rayom threw a straight arm at Marcus Ragnarsson, knocked him right off the play, and swept in with a wraparound try.
Well, it's been a very physical game for Pascal Rayom as we watch Brett Hull leave the ice. Another day at the office for him. 3 assists on the night. Here's Rayom using his body on Ragnarsson. Good strength there. He's only 6'1", 200 pounds. He uses his balance very well. And if that name Rayom sounds familiar to you, it should. His sister, Manon Rayom, played for Team Canada in the Olympics with the women's hockey team for Team Canada.
And she's the first and only woman to play in a professional hockey game. That was in a minor league game.
Actually, she played in an exhibition game against these same St. Louis Blues. Played 20 minutes. Faced Brett Hull.
Ricci back around to Sturm. Here's McLean in front for Ricci, and the puck comes right back to the near side. And now I'm told Aaron Witten also played in a minor league professional game in the East Coast League. But you're right. Rayom, the only one in the NHL preseason. McLean to the net, and Fuhr made a nice stop. Loose puck in front, and just as Friesen was set to poke it in, it was tipped away.
Well, Grant Fuhr has stayed sharp. He hasn't had a lot of shots on net, that just being his 16th by San Jose, but when he's been tested, he's been there.
Yates. And Mazzotti leaves it there for Marcus Ragnarsson. Here's Marleau. And he lost control of it at center ice. Eastwood wanted Portnoy breaking for the net. This is Chase. From the point, drives it right to Marchment. And Brian Marchment now will send it out up for Friesen. Friesen tied up by McAlpine. They've had something going all night long. And Chase just dumps it back in again. 2:15 left. Marleau a dump in for Lowry that was knocked down by Pronger. Fuhr leaving it at the side. This to Sutter. Tried to headman it to Burr. Intercepted by Bergevin. Conroy and Sutter fighting for the puck as Rathje drives it on the boards up for Sean Burr.
Well, we've seen it over the last couple of periods.
Here's Sutter, tripped up on his way to the net, and a penalty coming up to the Blues. And the Sharks will finish the game on a power play.
Well, a good penalty by St. Louis. Ron Sutter had a stride on Pellerin here. You'll see him trying to get to the middle of the net where he can take a shot, maybe use the D. Gets chopped down by Pellerin. Doesn't make contact with the puck. Does make contact with the legs of Ron Sutter, though. And that'll earn him a penalty. But I was talking about the speed that St. Louis has shown over the last couple of periods. San Jose did a good job containing that speed in the first period, limiting St. Louis to just the 6 shots. St. Louis, though, since then has had 23 shots over the last 2 periods. And really basically wrestled this game away from the Sharks in the second frame.
So a late power play chance here as Sutter stays on with Lowry and Burr. Winner the draw, back to the point. Shot there, tip. And we've got a puck out of play. Oh no, Fuhr has it. Wondering where it was.
Well, Murray Craven, over his 1,000 games, as being part of the Stanley Cup Finals on 3 separate occasions, never won a Stanley Cup. 2 of those finals, though, went the full 7 games in Philadelphia against the Edmonton Oilers, and then a few years ago against the New York Rangers while he was a Vancouver Canuck. And he talked about one of the most sobering experiences in his life. He played with Pelle Lindbergh, famous goalie for the Philadelphia Flyers, who was killed in a tragic auto accident during the season, 85-86 being the year. Says it really changed the way he felt about hockey.
Rosati leaving it at the side. 1:15 left in this one. Sharks will move on to Pittsburgh for their next game Wednesday night that we'll also have here. Mike Eastwood trying to break in on goal. Here's McAlpine trying to slide it over to Eastwood, but he's converged upon by a couple of Sharks. And now Lowry comes up with it as we're under a minute. Here sends it around. Bernie Nichols, a rare shift for him here in this third period. As Conroy is slowed down along the boards. Tony Granato coming out with the puck. Gives for Nichols on the right side. Bernie waits. To Mateau, back to Nichols. Lets a shot go. Fuhr stops it. Rebound loose in front of the net. Granato diving to make a backhand shot. Here's Iafrate. Back to Nichols. Iafrate across for Marchment. Had to take it on his backhand. Throws it toward the net. And that is going to do it. The St. Louis Blues out to congratulate Grant Fuhr, who was beaten early but then got a whole lot of offensive support from his teammates after that. The Blues win it tonight here in St. Louis by a final score of 6-2. And we'll be back on KICU. Sharks finish with